Can online students once confirm if I'm audible? People who are watching it online, can you please confirm if I'm audible? Okay. गुड इवनिंग फ्रेंड्स। आज इतना सारा क्राउड कैसे आ गया? अच्छा, छठ पूजा खत्म हुआ तो ऑल ऑफ यू आर बैक। ओके, चलिए। मुझे ठेकुआ वगैरह किसी ने दिया नहीं है लाके वैसे। हैं? चलिए, कोई बात नहीं। गुड इवनिंग। आज विल बी स्टार्टिंग नवंबर बुकलेट 1 नाउ, because we are doing this class live on YouTube as well, so some of the students may be watching these lectures for the first time, so please download the notes for this class, like that is this PDF from the Telegram channel which is given in the description. Okay, so today we'll be dealing with two topics in GS2 and two topics in GS3. GS2 में the first thing that we are starting with is the two finger test, which has again been banned. Again been banned का मतलब it was banned way back in 2013-14, and but this ban was not implemented, so it has again been reiterated by Supreme Court that this test should be done away with. So before we go into the Supreme Court judgment and its arguments, what is two finger test at basic level? What do we understand by two finger test? Two finger test basically means that the medical practitioner or the doctor inserts his two fingers inside the vagina of a female for identifying two things. One, the situation of the hymen, whether it's present or absent, and two, to check the laxity of vagina, laxity, flexibility of vagina. Now the purpose of this test is to understand if the woman is sexually active or not. Now you would say ki sir, and this test, one of the times at which this test is conducted is when someone claims to be a rape victim. When a woman says that I have been raped, तो उसका ये टेस्ट होता है जिसका कोई लॉजिक नहीं है. Why this test is done? Medically, scientifically, there's no reason, because this test, first of all, the doctors claim that this test is for checking whether a woman is sexually active or not. Now, if a woman is sexually active or not doesn't define whether she can be raped or not. So this as such doesn't serve any purpose. Second, the experts, medical experts also say that it is very unscientific. Even this test cannot even determine this thing, whether a woman is sexually active or not. The situation of or the whether hymen is present or not, or whether vagina is very lax or very flexible or not, will not determine. Scientifically, it cannot say whether a woman is sexually active or not, because hymen, like different women, are born with different kind of hymen. Hymen is basically a very thin tissue which covers women's vagina. Now, it has a small hole in it so that the period fluids and all those things can come out easily. Sometimes this hole is not present or is very small, so you have to consult a doctor at the very young age to get this hole created. Now, in some women are born with different women are born with different kind of hymen. So whether hymen is present or not will not determine whether a woman is sexually active or not. In the same way, laxity of vagina cannot determine whether a woman is sexually active or not. So first of all, what are the doctors claiming? जो ये test करते हैं, it will tell us whether a woman is sexually active or not. Okay, first of all, there is no reason to know that. If a woman could be raped or cannot be raped, it cannot be determined by whether a woman is sexually active or not. First aspect. Second, this test cannot even determine this. So this test is unscientific as well. But still, this test continues to be done on various rape victims in different part of the country even today. In fact, we would say that this test, the origin of this test lies in this anti-women belief that if a woman is sexually active, then she would not be raped. She would have tried to entice the man himself because she is sexually active. It is the idea behind this test is this misogynistic aspect. And thus, if we understand, even in this introduction, we kind of know that this is a useless, stupid, and human rights violating, privacy violating anti-women test. But it still goes on. Abhi judgment आया है Supreme Court का, because of which we are studying it. But way back in 2013, in Lilu et Rajesh versus State of Haryana, Supreme Court had already banned this test. You would see that in 2013, Supreme Court had said that the two-finger test and its interpretation violates the right of rape survivor to privacy, physical and mental integrity and dignity. It should be done away with. In fact, government also agreed, expert committees also agreed. Justice Verma Committee, which was formed after the Nirbhaya tragedy. Justice Verma Committee said that this test should be done away with. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare agreed to it. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare issued guidelines in 2014. ये आप देखेंगे यहाँ पे as per the recommendation of Justice Verma Committee, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare issued guidelines for medical legal care for survival of sexual violence. These guidelines explicitly prohibited the two-finger test. These guidelines also talked about training medical practitioners or medical examiners to respond to the needs of survivor in a sensitive and in a non-discriminatory way. This was a non-sensitive, discriminatory way. And it also provided for a rape test kit with tools required to collect evidence of sexual assault, so that the doctors or the medical practitioners do not have to go for these regressive methods. This was happening when? In 2014. It's been 8 years, and even now Supreme Court has to come and say, ban it, prohibit it, do not allow this to go on. I hope first of all, first thing that you should understand is, agar is pe sawal aayega, you should be able to define this practice in one line. What is its purpose? Identifying whether hymen is there or not, and laxity of vagina. This is completely unscientific. It cannot even determine that, and determining these two things is also not needed. Does not serve any purpose. Okay. But even after all these things, even after the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare's guidelines, even after Justice Verma Committee's recommendation, even after Supreme Court judgment, the test continues. So abhi bhi Supreme Court ka judgment aa gaya hai, test may still continue. So this judgment in itself will not be able to ban the test. First, let's understand why has it continued. One thing we can clearly say, lack of political will. If government would have wanted, it would have seriously considered this as an important issue and would have wanted it implemented, they would have got it implemented. Second, there is lack of awareness among medical practitioners. Because of lack of political will, enough efforts have not been taken. Even now, in different parts of the country, medical practitioners are not aware of this test being banned or of this thing being violative of a previous Supreme Court judgment. Then in 2014, we have talked about the rape test kit, which as per WHO guidelines had to be prepared and had to be made available in hospitals to ensure that in sensitive way testing can take place. This is not available in hospitals. This is even now, this is again an indication of lack of political will, lack of efforts from government side to ensure that these rape test kits are available. Then our medical curriculum, the older books still contain this thing, still contains this idea that a woman's rape can be tested or can be evaluated in this manner. For all these reasons, the test had continued. Again, Supreme Court has banned it. Supreme Court has not only banned it, prohibited it, but this time it has given reasons for prohibition, but also has given certain directions which should be taken in order to ensure that this order gets implemented. So first of all, what are the reasons Supreme Court has given for banning this test? Let's look at those reasons. वही जो हमने अभी पढ़े हैं. Supreme Court says that it's regressive in nature, taking us backwards. It is irrelevant to know whether a girl was sexually, whether a female was sexually active or not. कोई sexually active है तो उसका rape नहीं हो सकता क्या? Like how stupid can this be? Then it's this idea that a girl who is unmarried and who would not be having sex, this idea is very patriarchal, this idea is very sexist. Then the scientific basis wala argument. This doesn't have even the scientific basis. This test cannot determine whether someone is sexually active or not. This test cannot determine even that. And thus, it unnecessarily re-victimizes and re-traumatizes the female. And just imagine, अगर किसी छोटी बच्ची का रेप हुआ है, उसके बाद डॉक्टर goes and again inserts 2 fingers inside the vagina. Understand कि उस सिनेरियो में the girl is again going through this thing which she has faced at the time of rape. The judgment also referred to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare's guideline कि भाई there are guidelines which has already prohibited it. And thus the medical fraternity of India, the medical administration of India also agrees that it should not be there, but it's still going on. Fine. So it has given various directions to ensure that the judgment gets implemented, the guideline of Ministry of Health and Family Welfare gets implemented. What suggestions have they given? अगर ये suggestions ही नहीं देते, order नहीं देता Supreme Court, तो in way forward we would have talked about these things. कि what should be done in order to really ban this practice. The first thing is central and state government should ensure that ministry's guidelines are circulated to various hospitals throughout the country. Public hospital, private hospital, these guidelines need to be circulated. And here government will, how can we say that our doctors are not aware? Even if one doctor is not aware of this practice, it's problematic. Right? So make them aware of this. Second, copy of this judgment should also go to Health Ministry, which should ensure that it goes to Health Ministry of state governments and Home Ministry at the state government level, who would be taking action from the Home Ministry would ensure that it goes to DGPs to ensure proper coverage of this judgment, proper coverage of these guidelines. Then awareness generation among doctors के लिए workshop for health providers, workshop for doctors, curriculum in medical schools need to be updated. वहाँ पे इस चीज को emphasize करने की जरूरत है. And finally, the Supreme Court has also said anyone practicing this, a doctor going for 2-finger test, would be held guilty of misconduct. अब कितना punishment होगा, all those things have not been provided, but those doctors would be held guilty of misconduct, and इसीलिए Home Ministry के पास भी है. Police will take action against them. So in order to ensure that the judgment gets effectively implemented, Supreme Court has given a set of directions. फिर भी like हमने way forward में these are the things that we will have to write. There are some more things that we can say. One is executive must summon the political will that is needed to get all these things implemented. अभी भी हमने देखा है कि Supreme Court judgments do not even reach lower judiciary. Supreme Court has banned, declared Section 66A of IT Act as unconstitutional, and उस पे punishment अभी भी दिए जा रहे हैं. So we'll say, first thing we'll say is we need strong political will in order to ensure that this reaches each and every stakeholder. और ये पूरा awareness हो, workshop हो, medical curriculum में changes हो, here government will have to play a big role. Second, increase the availability of rape test kits. Rape test के बहुत सारे mechanism होते हैं. One was 2-finger test. Other is this rape test kit which provides a whole set of tools which could be used for testing, collecting samples and all those things. If this is not available, doctors would do stupid things. Then improve forensic medical infrastructure. Forensic medical infrastructure would help you go in a scientific manner to collect samples, to collect information at the time of rape, to understand whether a person has been raped or not. And finally, we citizens have to hold government accountable. How can they allow this unscientific way of testing something go on? If we question government on this, there are higher chances that they will get this political will to finally ban this practice. Fine. I hope the two-finger test, the issue of two-finger test is clear to all of you. कोई doubt है यहाँ पे? कोई concern, कोई issue? Yes. What's your name? अमृत्य जी बताइए. This case, it was not a landmark judgment as मैंने देखा भी नहीं. Anything else? कुछ नहीं, सब समझ रहे हैं. Proper definition, the issues, why it has not been implemented yet, what did Supreme Court say, what more needs to be done in order to implement this aspect, in order to particularly ban this issue. Fine, done. Pleasure Doctrine, Office of Governor. बट आज आप लोगों को देख के ना मुझे ये लग रहा है कि बहुत सारे स्टूडेंट्स हैं क्या बिहार झारखंड से? कितने लोग हैं? ये तो बहुत थोड़े से ही हैं. फिर ऐसे लोग ज्यादा क्यों हैं? कौन कौन पिछली क्लास में नहीं था ये बताओ? क्यों नहीं थे? You were down with viral fever. This is the time you should not get out of your home. इतना पोल्यूशन हो रखा है, अभी सब निकल आए हो. नहीं, आई वॉज गोइंग टू सजेस्ट दिस कि भाई स्टे एट होम, मास्क लगा के रहो, बाहर वार मत निकलो फॉर नेक्स्ट 5-10 डेज जब तक हम इस गैस चेम्बर से बाहर नहीं हो जाते. नाउ ऑल ऑफ यू आर कमिंग टू क्लास, दैट्स फाइन, दैट्स नाइस. लेट मी forensic infrastructure and technical expertise for special cases of different genre is totally absent. Forensic infrastructure and technical expertise for special cases of different genre is totally absent. Okay, yeah, that is the case. That's why हमने यहाँ पे forensic infrastructure को बढ़ाने की भी बात करी है way forward में. Now let's come to the next topic, the Office of Governor. अब Office of Governor में एक तो ये Pleasure Doctrine है जो which was in news, but governors these days are creating so many problems कि they remain in news. अभी केरल में the issue of governor saying कि remove this minister. Tamil Nadu में the politicians have come together and they are writing a letter to, or they are signing a resolution which they will send to president to remove the governor from there. उससे पहले in Maharashtra, governor had not allowed a session of the assembly to had not allowed finalization of date for election of the speaker of the house. So all these problematic things have been going on. So the issue of governor हम एक बार पूरा पढ़ लेंगे, उसमें ये pleasure doctrine को भी समझेंगे, but बाकी सारे aspects भी we would understand. Let's go for it. Who or what is the purpose of Office of Governor? पहले ये समझते हैं Office of Governor क्या है, what is the purpose of Office of Governor. See, if we were in a presidential form of government, then we would have elected a president, and if we were a federal system, then at the state level we would have elected a governor. वहाँ governor elected होता, but we are not in that system. We are a parliamentary form of government. In this parliamentary form of government, the governors at the state level are not elected. Who is elected? The chief minister is elected. Then what is this position of governor? Why is this position of governor needed? We already have at the state level, we have chief minister and council of minister as the head of the government. right? Head of the government तो वही है. At the same time, at the central level, we have Prime Ministers and Council of Ministers as the head of the government. तो प्रेसिडेंट का रोल या फिर गवर्नर का रोल क्या है, और why do we need governor? First aspect is this. Achha, here I'm starting with the fact that Office of Governor is a British Indian transplant with a federalist flavor. Now, what are we trying to say here? See, the system of having governor in India, जो अभी का system है कि we have governors, was brought by Britishers. तो पहले तो we were not a federal country. When Britishers were ruling us, only in 1935 Act, a component of federation आया, but that too never got implemented. So, in a way, governor was reporting to the central government only. British time में the governors of the provincial states were reporting to the central government only. But now, when we have a federal system where state government is independent of central government, now state government does not report to central government in a federal system. वहां पे the role of governor is slightly different, and that's why we are saying that यहाँ पे federalism वाला एक aspect आएगा, and that's why we are saying that it is a British Indian transplant. Role of governor British India के टाइम से आ रहा है with federalist flavor. Okay, so what is the role of governor? पहले let's come to their role before we go to the constitutional provisions related to governor. What is the role of governor? Governor is the constitutional head of the state. यहाँ state मतलब government, head of, वहां पे head of the government, वैसे head of the government हम बोल रहे हैं council of minister, chief minister with council of minister को, and head of the state we are calling की governor. तो in a parliamentary system we have head of the government, we have head of the state. तो अब state level पे, हमारे provincial level पे, state level पे, who will be the head of the state? Governor will be the head of the state. So it is fulfilling what role? Parliamentary system में एक constitutional head के requirement का role. First aspect. Now, why do in parliamentary system we have this requirement of constitutional head? Because parliamentary system or Westminster system is derived from the UK वाला system, and UK में we have a monarchy. We have monarchy. So there is a head of the state, there is a head of the government. So if we have that parliamentary system, we need a head of the state and then head of the government. That is one aspect. Second, governor also acts as a vital link between central and state. देखो, state government is independent of central government. Please note that. State government does not report to central unless वो same political party. तो political party की connections होते हैं. Constitutionally, they are not reporting to them. So it acts as a link. Governor acts as a link between center and state, and thus can increase coordination, collaboration. Third, and the important one, governor acts as agent of union government in some cases. Please note that agent can be taken as a very negative word, but in some situations governor is supposed to act as agent of the central government. In what situation? For example, the responsibilities which go to governor under article 239 clause 2. What happens under article 239 clause 2? Governor is sometimes given responsibility of administering the adjoining union territory. So अब तो ये governor, when governor is working as the administrator of the adjoining union territory, at that time governor acts as agent of the center. Here it's not a negative word. Here it's not a negative word. Governor has to act as agent of center. Similarly, when governor has to send a report कि the state government is not functioning as per the constitution and we should impose presidential rule here, at that time the governor has to act independent of the council of minister at the state level. So another function of the governor is this. Why office of governor is important? What is the role of office of governor? Office of governor is the constitutional head of the state government of the state. First. Second, it acts as a link between center and state, and third, it in certain situation acts as agent of union government. There are other significances as well. For example, governor through her discretionary power can break a lot of deadlocks. They say if no one gets majority, If no one gets majority, in that case, governor has certain discretionary powers. जिससे he would or she would suggest कि she would call a person to form a government and show majority. अदरवाइज किसी के पास गवर्नमेंट किसी के पास मेजोरिटी नहीं है तो दोबारा से इलेक्शन थोड़ी होते रहेंगे. ओके, एनीवेज, आई होप you understood the broader role of governor. Now let's look at some factual aspect. Article 153 of the Constitution says that there shall be a governor for each state. Article 154 says that governor would be the executive head of the state. Article 155 says that governor will be appointed by the president, and Article 156 says that governor will have a term of 5 years, but it is subject to the pleasure of president. Basically, a term of 5 years is fine, but if president's pleasure is removed, is withdrawn, then this term can also be curtailed. Four important, there are Article 163 or 164 भी बहुत important है, we'll come to that, but Article 153, 154, 155, 156, what are they saying about governor? Now, governor in India is nominated. कौन appoint करता है? President. Basically, it is the central government which is appointing the, because president works on the aid and advice of Council of Ministers. Okay, sir, could you explain with the pleasure of governor disqualifying a MLA? आ रहे हैं यार, वही topic है. We are every aspect related to governor, every issue related to governor would be covered. We are first covering the basic aspect of it. So why did Constituent Assembly decide for a nominated governor? ये एक और top, like in the presidential system, governor is elected. In the parliamentary system, governor is not the real head of the government, and thus governor is nominated. This is one reason. कि why in Constituent Assembly there was a debate कि governor ऐसे ही बस सेंटर का रिप्रेजेंटेटिव हो, नॉमिनेटेड बंदा हो या फिर एक इलेक्टेड बंदा हो. तो Constituent Assembly went the nomination way because one, is only the constitutional head. If the governor was elected, it would have led to conflict within governor and CM. Both of them would have said, we are the, I am the real representative of the people. If the governor was elected, governor would have been less neutral. Governor has to play a neutral role, because governor, please note that governor is also part of what? The legislature. Without governor's signature, a bill doesn't get signed. The governor has to work in a neutral manner. But if the governor was elected, he would have come from some political party. Chances of the governor being neutral would have been very less. And because governor is nominated by center, the governor can center can have a greater control over states. And this is the kind of federation we wanted. We did not want an absolute or an ideal federal system. We wanted a federal system where center would have more control over states to ensure that unity and integrity is not affected, to ensure that parochial regional tendencies do not impact India negatively. And वहाँ पे भी governor being a representative of center would have been important, and that's why we have gone the nomination way and not the election way. So why, चार पांच देखो इस तरह के सवाल भी आ सकते हैं कि why did India go the nomination way? You should be able to give various dimensions there as well. But now come to the controversies. Now see, in mains examination, it's very difficult to give details of various controversies. You will only be able to refer to those controversies in one line. It's not possible that you will explain कि vice chancellor was disqualified by Supreme Court. So governor of Kerala said all other vice chancellors should be removed because they also were elected by the same method. The finance minister there said, you would not understand the university system in Kerala. You have only seen university system of Uttar Pradesh. Governor would get offended and governor would say, this is not how you will disrespect the constitutional head of the state. I am removing my pleasure. I am withdrawing my pleasure. Remove this person from the ministry. You will not be able to write all these things. ये हुआ, ये controversy. Right? You will only be able to refer to the controversy. And that's why in the notes you will see that हम किसी भी controversy को elaborately explain नहीं कर रहे हैं. हम 4 पॉइंट्स 5 पॉइंट्स अगर लिख रहे हैं तो एक इशू का लिख रहे हैं, why governor has to be elected and not nominated, why governor has to be nominated and not elected. जो हमें एग्जाम में एनालिसिस करना है, that we are not elaborating on the controversy, but I'll explain you each and every controversy so that you understand what's going on. Fine. So the tensions or the office of governor kind of worked very smoothly till late 1960s, because till late 1960s, both at the central level and at the state government level, the same party was ruling. Now, even if the governor was a nomination of center, because even at the state government the same party is ruling, there was coordination and cooperation. Governor need not be, the office of governor was not needed to be politicized. Office of governor did not have to worry about whether I should favor the central government or not. If I'll go as per the state government, central government will take away my office. Those kind of things were not there. But since late 1960s, various state governments had started having non-Congress governments. So when state में non-Congress government है, center में Congress है, and then center is appointing governor. Now, center and state would have their differences because there are different political parties there. Governor is controlled by center. Technically, he should not be. Governor should be the constitutional head, but because governor is working on at the pleasure of, the term of government is governor is 5 years, but he would only work till the time he has the pleasure of the president, that is pleasure of the council of ministers. तो उसे रिमूव भी किया जा सकता है, उसे ट्रांसफर भी किया जा सकता है. तो गवर्नर started doing more and more of those things which was as per the central government. State government में, though some problems might have been there in state government, governors started using presidential rule wala provision more and more. They started recommending presidential rule in state government. They started dissolving state governments regularly, and things became complicated. In fact, आप अभी देखेंगे last 8-9 years में there have been various instances where governor had worked in a wrong manner. So it was not only with Congress. It started with Congress, but even now the central government is using governor to kind of politically achieve their goals. In 2016, they had imposed presidential rule in Uttarakhand. The Uttarakhand government had to go to Supreme Court to get the government back. Supreme Court said कि बकवास करना बंद करो. If you want to show that some chief minister has lost majority, that would be decided on the floor of the house. Something like this kept on happening. Uttarakhand में हुआ, it happened in Arunachal Pradesh. Then when it comes to a situation when no party has majority in the house, then preference was always being given to the party which has had government at the center. Governor should have appointed an alliance which has more members, or governor should have given a chance to an alliance which has more members. Governor should have given chance to party which has more members. But we have seen that governors regularly giving priority to the party which is also ruling at the center. See the example of Goa in 2017. 2017 में Goa में Congress had more seats than BJP, but BJP was asked to form government and then prove their majority. Manipur में same happened. In fact, in Karnataka again Congress and JDS together had after election formed an alliance and they were ready to form government. But still, I think Yedurappa was asked to form government. Kumar, no. Some BJP person was asked to form government. That government fell in few days when BJP was not able to show their majority. But that should not have happened. Governor should have looked at the election results and should have invited the party which had higher probability of forming government rather than inviting BJP. Same happened in Maharashtra in 2019. Subah 4-5 baje, who was the Fadnavis was given oath as the minister. Oh, sorry, as the chief minister. Whereas majority was clearly with the post-election alliance that was formed between Congress, Shiv Sena and NCP. Right. Then there are other controversial examples. Abhi in 2022, Maharashtra government kept on requesting to finalize a date for election of the speaker. Governor was, now this was highly ludicrous. Governor does not even have authority. Constitution doesn't say that governor would decide the date. It is just rule of the house में बोला गया है कि governor would decide it. And governor did not allow a speaker to be elected by not finalizing the date. Then recently, governor withdrawing pleasure, that is dismissing a minister without consulting the chief minister. We will see that even this was not as per the constitution. Perhaps governor did not consult any legal expert, because governor does not have the authority to dismiss a minister. Governor has the authority to dismiss the ministry, that is the whole government. Agar governor finds that this government has lost majority, governor can dismiss the whole government. But governor does not have the authority to dismiss a single minister. Governor tried to do that. So you see, wherever the other political parties rule, and again, it's not only about BJP, it was the situation in Congress as well in the but it was not this prominent. Like today, governor, state government is having problem with governor wherever there is there is opposition party ka government, be it in West Bengal or in Rajasthan. Rajasthan mein something similar happened when the Sachin Pilot group had come to here, what do you call, Gurgaon में किसी resort में कहीं पे बैठे हुए थे. The chief minister said, assembly बुलाओ. Someone who would not come in assembly will assume कि they have defected and will disqualify them. Assembly नहीं बुला पाए थे. Governor did not allow that. So Punjab government is facing problem because of the differences with governor. Rajasthan mein that's going on. Maharashtra mein that went on for a long time. Kerala mein that's going on. Tamil Nadu mein that's going on. So the office of governor should have acted as agent of center in some cases. We have seen the function. In certain situations, office of governor is supposed to act as agent of center. But right now, office of governor is acting as agent of center for everything, for every situation. Okay, so why is this so? Why does governor tend to act as an agent of government, an agent of central government? So there are some doubts. Let me take this doubts first. Why elected governor will be incompatible with the parliamentary system? Beta, in parliamentary system, we have the head of the government elected and then दूसरा वाला non-elected वाला person होता है. जैसे British system, we have prime minister, elected prime minister and council of minister. Monarch is not elected as such. दोनों elected हो जाएंगे, फिर who will be the real representative of people? The governor is supposed to act on the aid and advice of the council of minister. Now, if governor is also elected, governor would say, I am the representative of people, I do not need to take your aid and advice. Okay, so it's not in sync. Is it justified that we still are following same colonial legacy of 1935 and giving governor this type of discretion? Actually, we are not following the 1935 system, but our constitution makers had thought that offices like governor there would always be people of wisdom. They had not imagined this scenario that every aspect would be misused. We'll come to how this thing should be resolved. We'll come to that. But why does governor tend to behave like an agent of central government regularly? ये discretionary power से पहले let's understand. अच्छा, let's first understand the discretionary power of the governor वाला issue, and then we'll understand कि why does governor behave like this? Why does governor always favor the central government? Okay. So, discretionary power of the governor. What is discretionary power of the governor? Pehle, let's understand what is discretionary power. Discretionary power is a decision that I will take at my own without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. This is discretionary power. Governor in general is supposed to act on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. In general, the governor is supposed to do that. But in some situation, governor is supposed to act at her own, without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. This is the discretionary power. But please note that because I am supposed to act at my own without the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, it does not mean that I will act on my whims and fancies. I'll have to act on reasonable, justifiable grounds. I'll have to act as per the provisions of the Constitution. Discretion does not mean ab to meri chalegi. Yes, you have to act at your own, but as per rules, as per regulations, as per reasons which are justified, as per the constitutional provisions, as per the laws. Okay, this is what we are saying here. Constitution of India confers governor of a state with some discretionary power. Here discretion means choosing amongst the various available alternative, but with reference to the Constitution, rules of reason and justice, and not according to personal wills. Article 163 clause 2 is defining this discretionary power. It says that if a question arises whether over a matter governor has discretionary power or not, whether on a particular issue governor has a discretionary power or not, then it is decision of the governor which would be final. So if there is a difference between state government and governor, whether you have to act on our aid and advice or not on this matter, the final decision is of governor. But the Constitution of India have not listed these are the subject matters on which governor has to act as per the discretion and not as per the aid and advice of the Constituent Assembly. The Constitution has not listed this. In various Supreme Court judgments and various committees, we have got this list, which are the areas where governor can act at her own discretion. In Shamsher Singh versus State of Punjab, the Supreme Court had listed some areas where governor will not have to consult the Council of Minister. I say governor is supposed to work on the aid and advice of Council Minister, but on these subjects, governor will not have to consult Council of Minister when governor is submitting a report to President under Article 356. Article 356 क्या है? Presidential rule. There you are saying that this government is not functioning properly. Then you cannot take orders from that government, or you will not be working on the aid and advice of that government, because that government will never say that we are not working as per the Constitution. Fine. So यहाँ पे the governor is supposed to act on her own discretion. First. Second, reservation of any bill for the consideration of the president. Please note, state legislature, President of India, is President of India part of the Parliament? Yes. Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha and President, ये तीनों लोग Parliament का part होते हैं. In the same way, Governor is also part of the Parliament, part of the state legislature. But if now, when Governor has to sign a bill, give assent to a bill, Governor acts on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers. If the Council of Ministers would say don't give assent, Governor will not. If the Council of Ministers would say give assent, Governor will. But in case Governor wants to reserve a bill for consideration of the Centre, in that case, will the Governor act on the aid and advice of this Council of Ministers? No, they would never want कि तुम किसी और से पूछो, दे वुड वांट कि हमसे ही करवाओ, राइट? तो दिस reservation of any bill for the consideration of the president under article 200, here article 239 clause 2, where the governor is acting as the administrator of the adjoining union territory, then I will act on my own discretion rather than on the aid and advice of the council of ministers of this state. And then various roles have been given to governor for special category states. And I should not say special category states. Some states have been given special provisions. Some tribal areas have been given special provisions where governor can act at his own, at her own, without the aid and advice of the council of ministers. ARC, Administrative Reform Commission, have also identified some areas where governor would act at her own discretion. One, appointment of the chief minister. Now, when the appointment of chief minister is happening, at that time governor doesn't have a council of minister. अब काउंसिल ऑफ मिनिस्टर पुराना वाला है तो उसके बेसिस पे तो फ्यूचर चीफ मिनिस्टर डिसाइड नहीं होगा. तो हियर गवर्नर इज सपोज टू एक्ट ऑन हर ओन डिस्क्रेशन when a ministry has to be dismissed. Please note it's ministry, not a minister. When a ministry has to be dismissed, when governor sees that okay, this government has lost majority in the legislative assembly but has still not resigned, they've lost majority, they have to be dismissed. Will the governor be depending on aid and advice of the council of minister? No. Dissolution of the assembly, when no one is able to no alliance, no party is able to form a majority, then the assembly will have to be dissolved. Will they work on the aid and advice of the council of minister? No one has majority at this time, so no council of minister has majority, so they do not have to work on the aid and advice of the council of minister. Giving assessment or giving assent or withholding assent to a bill, a statutory function, that is functions provided under some statute. Achha, giving assent or withholding assent to a bill, I'll confirm it again, because assent to generally it's on the aid and advice of council of minister, unless you want to reserve the bill for the center's approval. ठीक है, देख लेंगे एक बार. Okay, so what we are saying is governor's discretionary power have a number of important roles. It ends a lot of deadlock situation. It ensures that someone who does not have majority will not aid and advise and control the governor and will not control the state. It ensures that when a bill does not seems to be constitutional, then it is referred to president. So discretionary power has its own important role. It should be there. However, these powers must be exercised subject to some guidelines prescribed by various committees, especially Sarkaria Committee, Punchi Commission, etc. The decision of various Supreme Court verdict, etc. It should not be on whims and fancies of the governor. For example, जिस पार्टी के पास कम सीट्स हैं, चीफ मिनिस्टर वहां से अपॉइंट, डिस्क्रेशन है, द गवर्नर हैज डिस्क्रेशन, but governor should be working as per the rules and regulations, as per the constitutional provisions, as per the recommendations of various committees, as per the judgments of Supreme Court. Supreme Court has very clearly said that whether a party has lost majority would be decided on the floor of the house, but governor still imposed president rule in Uttarakhand in 2016. SR Bombay में judgment में Supreme Court has said it. अभी Bombay ji is the chief minister of Karnataka. No, his father was chief minister of Karnataka way back in 1980s. And उस government को dismiss कर दिया गया था 1989 में. Governor of the Karnataka at that time had imposed president's rule. He challenged that. SR Bombay challenged that in the court, and finally in 1994 Supreme Court said that majority will be decided at the floor of the house. Governor cannot impose president rule or dismiss government at his own whims and fancy. Fine. Now, ये increasing difference between governor and council of ministers of opposition rule states, ये मैंने आपको समझा दिया है already, बहुत सारे examples देके. let's come to doctrine of pleasure. अच्छा, before doctrine of pleasure, just इसे कहाँ plug करना, इसे यहाँ plug कर देंगे. Before doctrine of pleasure, let us see, let me explain you step by step what happened in Kerala. Exactly क्या हुआ. तो केरला में you know that सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटीज हैं, उसमें वाइस चांसलर इज बेसिकली द हेड ऑफ द यूनिवर्सिटी, एंड हु इज द चांसलर ऑफ सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटी? द प्रेसिडेंट. प्रेसिडेंट इज द चांसलर ऑफ सेंट्रल यूनिवर्सिटीज एंड वाइस चांसलर तो वहां के हेड. तो आप देखो किसी भी यूनिवर्सिटी में वाइस चांसलर इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पोजीशन. व्हेन आई वाज अ किड आई यूज्ड टू थिंक ही इज अ वाइस चांसलर, कोई चांसलर भी तो होगा, राइट? तो बट जब बड़े हुए तो पता लगा अच्छा प्रेसिडेंट इज. इन द सेम वे एट द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट लेवल, स्टेट यूनिवर्सिटीज में देयर आर वाइस चांसलर, एंड चांसलर कौन होगा? गवर्नर होगा. नाउ देयर इज अ टेक्निकल यूनिवर्सिटी इन केरला whose vice chancellor was appointed by a committee who had suggested only one member. ऐसे ना कमिटी को ऐसे मल्टीपल मेंबर सजेस्ट कर, ये 4 लोग हैं, आप इनमें से किसी को अपॉइंट करो. बट दिस कमिटी हैड सजेस्टेड ओनली वन मेंबर. दिस कमिटी also had one of the secretaries, or I think chief secretary of the state, as member of the committee. All these things are against the UGC guidelines. UGC guidelines say that experts होने चाहिए उस कमेटी में, and multiple options होने चाहिए. Only one option should not be given. So again, please note that these things are not important for your exam. You will not be able to write it in the in your answer sheet. That's why I've not given it in your notes. Okay, so this appointment was challenged in the Supreme Court, and Supreme Court accepted it. Supreme Court said yes, the vice chancellor should not have been appointed in this manner. Fine. Now the governor said there are a number of other universities where vice chancellors have been appointed in this manner. Dismiss them. Difference started on this from this perspective. Kerala government also tried to change the law. The governor said, "I will not sign the bill. I will not give assent to these bills." The differences occurred between the governor and the council of minister. One of the ministers, I think the finance minister, said that this governor will not know the system of education and the system of universities in Kerala because he has only seen university system in Uttar Pradesh. That also became very offensive. Governor said that this person is trying to create difference on the regional grounds. This minister thus should be dismissed. He is disrespecting the office of governor, which is a constitutional office, and should be dismissed. And he wrote to the chief minister for dismissing the minister by saying that I am withdrawing my pleasure. Chief minister disagreed. This is the scenario. Chief minister ने बोला नहीं करेंगे. बात समझ में आई है क्या हुआ है? Now this is not needed for your exam. एग्जाम में सिर्फ एक लाइन लिखेंगे, द डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन गवर्नर एंड केरला गवर्नमेंट ओवर डिसमिसल ऑफ द प्राइम मिनिस्टर एंड द वाइस चांसलर. सॉरी, डिसमिसल ऑफ द फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर एंड द वाइस चांसलर. वो वाला चीज, उसमें डिफरेंसेस आ रहे हैं. फाइन. नाउ लेट्स कम टू व्हाट इज डॉक्ट्राइन ऑफ प्लेजर. यहाँ पे व्हाट डिड द गवर्नर से? गवर्नर सेड आई एम विड्रॉइंग माई प्लेजर. मैं अपना प्लेजर विड्रॉ कर रहा हूं. जैसे, एक सेकेंड दीजिए, जैसे वी हैड जस्ट सीन दैट द गवर्नर इज अपॉइंटेड बाय द प्रेसिडेंट फॉर अ टर्म ऑफ 5 years, but this term is subject to the pleasure of the president. In the same way, in constitution it is written that the chief minister, ministers are appointed by governor as per what chief minister recommends. Chief minister identify कि इन लोगों को minister बनाना है, and those ministers work, or those ministers are they work on their term is also सब्जेक्ट टू प्लेजर ऑफ द गवर्नर। अभी हम उन एग्जैक्ट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल वर्डिंग्स देखेंगे, बट जो मिनिस्टर्स हैं स्टेट लेवल पे, एज पर द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन they should also be working at the pleasure of governor. The governor said in this case, in the case of Kerala government, I am withdrawing my pleasure, remove that person. So comes pleasure doctrine. What is it? Let's understand that. Doctrine of pleasure or pleasure doctrine. This is again something that we have taken from English common law, where crown, the monarchy, can dispense with the services of any of its employment at any time. क्राउन के अंदर कोई भी सर्विस है, कोई भी सिविल सर्वेंट है, द क्राउन कैन डिस्पेंस विथ। In the same way, in India, in Article 310, it has been said that every person in its defense or in the defense or civil services of union holds office during the pleasure of the president. ये यूनियन की बात कर रहे हैं। Article 310 says that every person in its defense services or in civil services of the union, defense services or the civil services of the union, holds office during the pleasure of the president. Every member of the civil services in the states hold office during the pleasure of the governor. So if the president says, I'm withdrawing my pleasure, I'm not happy with this person, remove this person, the person has to be removed. Same is with the governor. If the governor says that if in civil services, in the state civil services, this person should be removed, this person is removed. But here the president and governor act on the aid and advice of the council of minister. Real government कौन है? Chief Minister with Council of Minister, Prime Minister with Council of Minister. Article 311 imposes, but in the practical term, the pleasure of president referred to here is that of union government. The governor's pleasure is that of state government. So coming back to even किसी civil servant को governor cannot remove directly, even though the constitution says that every civil servant at the state level would be working at the pleasure of governor. Fine, because the governor works on the aid and advice of council of minister. So yes, council of minister can dismiss anyone, but not ministers. Please note, वो minister भी करेंगे. यहाँ पे we are talking about civil servants. Ministers are not civil servants. Okay, now come to, can a governor call for dismissal of state's minister? कोई governor state के minister को हटा सकता है क्या? Is it something that has been tried in this case? कि governor state के minister को हटाने की बात कर रहा है. Can a governor do that? There is a question. Shivam is saying, does it justice still follow the same? नहीं, वो हो गया. Yedirappa. Soumya is saying, sir wrote last mains, 70% satisfied with performance, may require to write next attempt. How to utilize? Arey, Soumya, we'll speak on phone. And if you are 70% satisfied, that's fine. No one is 100% satisfied with their mains exam. Even the person who's going to get rank 1, no. That person is also not satisfied, because please understand this UPSC ka syllabus and everything is so vast. You always have scope of improvement. You always think, yaar, I could have written this better, I could have written this better. Fine. So I have been telling all the students who have written mains कि these are the 3 things that you should do while you are preparing for your interviews. तो मैं आपसे फोन पे बात करूंगा, और maybe I'll make a video for everyone कि how after writing mains till interviews what you should be doing. In fact, let me do it this Tuesday only, and उसके बाद भी कोई doubt रहेगा, I'll because individually I have been speaking to a lot of people about what to do after your mains. 3 parts में मैं चीज़ों को बोलता हूँ. एक, अपने ऑप्शनल पे काम करिए, और नॉन स्टैंडर्ड बुक्स भी पढ़िए अपने ऑप्शनल की. Like for example, if you are let's say your optional is PSIR, so at the time of examination you are not able to read books which has been published by S. Jaishankar and Shyam Sharan and all, क्योंकि एग्जाम के टाइम आप बहुत स्पेसिफिक होना चाहते हो. तो what you should be doing is 1/3 of your time जो आप पढ़ाई को दे रहे हैं, 1/3 of the time you should focus on your optional. Try to ensure that whatever you have studied is again complete. जो भी shortcomings रह गई हैं उसे fill करिए. In case you have to write again, you should be working on that as well बहुत अच्छे से. And then read these extra things. Second one, first 1/3 of the time should be on this. Second 1/3 of the time should be on current development. हिंदू या एक्सप्रेस में से कोई एक न्यूज़पेपर, you do that. हिंदू एक्सप्रेस में से कोई एक न्यूज़पेपर, एक टाइम्स ऑफ इंडिया हिंदुस्तान टाइम्स में से. Please note that these newspaper, Times of India is the most distributed newspaper in the country. So people who are taking your interviews, there are higher chances कि उनके घर में Times of India आ रहा होगा. So if they are reading that newspaper, if you are also browsing through it, it would be advantageous. तो हिंदू और एक्सप्रेस में से कोई एक, and Times of India हिंदुस्तान टाइम्स में से कोई एक, दो न्यूज़पेपर, and then a regional newspaper. You're like right now my family lives in Bhiwadi. Bhiwadi is a place in Alwar district. तो वहां पे एक अलवर का न्यूज़पेपर आता है, अलवर भास्कर. Read that, understand what's happening in your state, in your district, what is your district administration doing, what are the problems of your areas, what are the problems of your region. This is the second 1/3 of the time. First 1/3 of the time अपना ऑप्शनल कर रहे हो, जो भी कमियां हैं वो कंप्लीट कर रहे हो, और कुछ और इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट, बिकॉज इन योर इंटरव्यू यू मे गेट क्वेश्चंस ऑन योर ऑप्शनल, स्पेशली इफ इट्स इंटरेस्टिंग वन. सबको आईआर पे क्वेश्चन पूछने में मजा आता है, चाहे कुछ खुद आता हो नहीं आता हो. एंड इफ यू विल आंसर लाइक एक्सपर्ट्स, दैट विल बी अ गुड थिंग. सेकेंड 1/3 ऑफ द टाइम इज ऑन योर न्यूज़पेपर्स, एंड थर्ड 1/3 ऑफ द टाइम शुड बी ऑन योर डैफ. नाउ यू विल से सर क्या बात करो, डैफ? अरे डैफ इज एवरीथिंग. डैफ में यू हैव योर हॉबीज, डैफ में यू हैव योर ग्रेजुएशन सब्जेक्ट, डैफ में यू हैव योर सिटी, डैफ में यू हैव योर नेम, है ना. You sit for one day with the first thing, your name. Sit with your name for half an hour. और सोचो ना जो जो सोच सकते हो उसके बारे में. Make some questions out of it. They will have half an hour. They will have half an hour. अगर आप ऑलरेडी वो half an hour उस पर्टिकुलर चीज पे दे दिए, अपने शहर का, go and Google about your शहर, about your city. Try to understand its history, try to understand its significance, try to understand its important aspect. Your graduation subjects, थोड़ा देखो कि पास्ट ईयर में यूपीएससी ने किसी हिस्ट्री ग्रेजुएट से क्या क्या सवाल पूछे हैं. थोड़ा देखो कि पास्ट ईयर में यूपीएससी ने कंप्यूटर साइंस ग्रेजुएट से क्या क्या सवाल पूछे हैं. अगर कोई एक सब्जेक्ट बहुत अच्छा लगता है, गो थ्रू दैट बुक अगेन. If they ask you, acha, in your graduation, which is the subject that you like the most? You say algorithm, and they say, what is NP hard problem? You're like, तो बोले झूठ बोल रहा है. Test is of your personality. Test is not of your knowledge. But your personality should be truthful, ना, honest, ना. तो थोड़ा सा, even if that was your favorite subject, you may have forgotten all those things. 1/3 of the time ये आपकी पढ़ाई का टाइम है. इसके अलावा go do a lot of exercise, enjoy your life. 2-3 घंटे अगर ये सब कर रहे हो, उसके बाद भी you have a lot of time. Go visit places. हेल्थ पे बहुत ध्यान दो. लास्ट ईयर 2020 वाला जो एग्जाम था, जिसका रिजल्ट 2021 में आया, one of our students had to go through medical test 3-4 times, क्योंकि उसका वेट और बीपी का इशू चल रहा था. तो अभी से आप फोकस करिए ना, अपना थोड़ा सा वेट पे कंट्रोल करिए, क्योंकि इफ यू विल स्टार्ट डूइंग दैट नो, एंड इन 2 months डाउन द लाइन, इफ यू आर गिविंग योर इंटरव्यू, यू विल फील फ्रेश. इफ यू स्टार्ट एक्सरसाइजिंग राइट नाउ, if you start going for walk right now, you will be more energetic. These things are important in your personality. This would be a positive aspect. If you are very lethargic, you are like so the interviewer would also feel thaka sa, है ना. And if you are energetic, and by fitness we do not mean that आपको slim होना पड़ेगा, आपको fit होना पड़ेगा. A heavy weight वाला person can also be fit. A slim person can also be fit. So you have to be fitter. तो फोकस ऑन दीज एस्पेक्ट्स, ये ब्रॉडली ये करना होता है, ज्यादा इधर उधर टेंशन नहीं लेनी होती है. तो आई होप सौम्य कि ये चीजें हैं, और बाकी हम फोन पे बात कर लेंगे कि और क्या करना है. तो इन दिस प्रोसेस आप अपने ऑप्शनल को और अच्छे से कंप्लीट कर लेते हो, सो दैट इन केस अनफॉर्चुनेटली अगर यू डोंट गेट एन इंटरव्यू कॉल, इन दैट सिनेरियो यू विल नॉट बी कि यार आई वेस्टेड लास्ट 2 months. नो, I have removed all the bottlenecks which were there in my optional subject. You have kept on going through newspaper. तो आपका जीएस में भी चीजें अपडेट ही हुई हैं, आपकी प्रीलिम्स की प्रिपरेशन भी खराब नहीं हुई है. A lot of questions in preliminary examination would come from what you have been reading. Fine. And you, if you have given some time to your DAF, next year DAF would be same. Everything else may change. But if you have been truthful, if you are planning to be truthful in your DAF this year, other than number of attempts, perhaps nothing would change. So if you are giving some time for your DAF right now, that's a good thing to do. 3 चीजें आपको करनी है other than focusing on. हाँ, तो even this year one of my students is facing ये medical वाला issue, weight वाला issue. उसका अभी तक final medical test pending है. तो इट्स ऐसा नहीं होता कि मेडिकल रीजन से कोई डिस्क्वालीफाई हो जाता है, बट दे हैव टू पुट इन अ लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट्स. कब अप्रैल मई में रिजल्ट आ गया था ना, नवंबर आ चुका है. I'll not, if it was not going on YouTube, I would have named both the students as well. तो अभी क्योंकि YouTube पे तो I'll not name those students, but health पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना है. Okay, let's come back to our ये वाला topic. What was the topic? Topic was pleasure. Doctrine of pleasure. Or the pleasure doctrine. So we were saying कि can a governor withdraw pleasure and say dismiss this minister doesn't have my pleasure. Let's look at the provisions. Article 164 clause 1 says chief minister shall be appointed by governor. Pehla, and the other minister shall be appointed by governor on the advice of chief minister, and the minister shall hold office during the pleasure of the governor. अब इससे पढ़ के तो ये लगेगा ना कि प्लेजर डॉक्ट्राइन के हिसाब से तो आई एम विड्रॉइंग माई प्लेजर, यू गो अवे. सेम वाज द केस विथ प्रेसिडेंट सेइंग कि आई एम विड्रॉइंग माई प्लेजर, यू गवर्नर गो, यू आर नो मोर गवर्नर. दैट वाज ट्रू. इससे यही पता लग रहा है. बट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल एक्सपर्ट्स से दैट कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजन कांट बी read in isolation. Look at other articles also. Article 163 clause 1 says that the council of minister must act in aid and advice of the council of minister must aid and advise the governor. That is, governor must act on the aid and advice of council of minister. However, according to article 163 clause 2, governor can act in his discretion in certain matters permitted by the constitution. ये तो हमने अभी पढ़ ही लिया. In some situations governor can act on his discretion, but in other cases the governor must act on the aid and advice of the council of minister. This means that in general governor is bound by the cabinet's decision, and except when he has legitimate right to invoke his discretion, should be acting on the aid and advice of the council of minister. Similarly, when president is removing pleasure, withdrawing pleasure, president is not supposed to do this at her own or at his own. Suppose Pranab Mukherjee was president of India. Suppose नहीं, वो तो थे ही. So when Pranab Mukherjee was president of India, at that time Pranab Mukherjee could have said, you governor go, you governor go, you go, I'm taking away my... No, Pranab Mukherjee can do it only on the aid and advice of the council of ministers. Same is the case with governor. Governor can do it only, governor can act only on the aid and advice of council of minister in this case. Why? Because देखो, जब appointment हुआ था minister का, it was on the advice of chief minister. Appointment of the minister was not done by the governor at his own discretion, at her own discretion. It was done on the advice of the chief minister. Fine. In fact, to bring more clarity, let us go to Constituent Assembly debate. हमारा प्रोविजन का रियल मतलब क्या होगा, उसके बैकग्राउंड में जो डिबेट्स हुई हैं उसमें जा सकते हैं. तो हियर ऑन 4th of November 1948, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in Constituent Assembly had said, the President of Indian Union has no power to dismiss any minister so long as his ministers command a majority in the parliament. President cannot dismiss any minister till the time the ministers command, the Council of Ministers command majority in the parliament. Basically, ये बहुत बड़ा statement था. I have only removed. So he was comparing the President of USA with the President of India. President of USA could remove any of the secretary. वहां पे minister secretary होते हैं. The Secretary of State is their finance, foreign minister, है ना. ऐसे ही अलग अलग defense secretary is their defense minister. So president can remove anyone. President of USA can remove any of the minister. So Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar in Constituent Assembly debate, while comparing these two offices, President of USA and President of India, had said that while the President of USA can do that, President of India cannot do it till the time the Council of Ministers have majority in the Parliament. Now, the same principle apply to governors as well, since the Union Minister also hold the office during the pleasure of the President. आप Article 75 Clause 2 में जाओगे, it is said that Union Minister holds office during the pleasure of the President. Now, President cannot remove a Union Minister. So, Governor should also not be able to remove State Minister till the time Council of Ministers has majority in the Assembly. A minister can be removed if Chief Minister requests for it. Chief Minister के advice पे ही minister select हुए हैं, is Chief Minister request for it, not at the pleasure of the President or at the pleasure of the Governor. I hope you have clarity on this situation. अब देखो, please understand this. If I had to only cover current affairs ना, मैं सिर्फ ये वाला section cover करता. Pleasure क्या है और इसमें scenario क्या है. And this could have been done in 2 minutes or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. But I'm trying to ensure that everything related to governor gets done. For governor, you do not need to read anything else. Okay, let's go to this aspect. Why do governors tend to behave like agent of center? क्यों governors independently काम नहीं कर पाते? Because one, everything related to governor is controlled by center only. Their appointment, their transfer, their removal. Center decides who will be the governor. Center decides when the governor gets transferred. Center decides when to remove the governor. Now, if they are the boss, I'll follow the boss. If they are the ones, constitutionally, they are not supposed to be the boss. Right? Federal system mein, they are not supposed to be the boss. But provisions are such that this individual's office depends on the pleasure of the central government, pleasure of the president sent. So this person follows whatever state wants. Whatever the center wants. This governor follows whatever the center wants. Second, governors are generally being elected who have political affiliations. Now, if a person was in a political party for so many years, now the person becomes governor, that political affection would still be there, that ideological connection would still be there. Third, discretionary duties. There are a lot of discretionary powers available. Norms, rules, regulations are not very clearly defined in the constitution. When no one has majority, who should be chosen as the chief minister? Governor, what is governor doing? Governor is choosing a person whose party is also ruling at the center. If there were well-defined rules, regulations in the constitution only, or in some law, in this situation this has to be done, in this situation this has to be done, then scope for governor to misuse her discretionary power for the benefit of the center would have been lesser. For these reasons, governor tend to behave like agent of the center. Now, because of this, a number of questions have also been raised. questions have been raised, do we need an office of governor? Sometimes this aspect, like especially in states like Tamil Nadu, they've always wanted what is the need of office of governor? The office of governor is leading to unnecessary delays in things. So this question was also given to a number of committees, but most of the expert committees and commissions except Raj Mannar committee. Raj Mannar committee was appointed by Tamil Nadu government. So except Raj Mannar committee, सारे committees ने क्या बोला है? Office of governor is significant. Office of governor is very important. It should be there. Why is it very important? Governor acts as a watchdog of center within states. Now, the idea behind office of governor was to prevent the threats to unity and the integrity of the nation. In this, governor ensures that else tomorrow one state government rebels against the center. In the end, you won't be able to take a lot of steps. Now you have a representative there, you have a governor there who will help you take preliminary steps. Second, in the era of multi-party rule, the office of governor becomes more significant. Multi-party rule, every state has their own regional party ruling, their parochial tendencies are high. So governor acts as an effective check on their day-to-day functioning while ensuring that the system is going as per the constitution. So governor is important. Other than that, we have also discussed why the office of governor is important. Now, office of governor is important, but office of governor is also not functioning neutrally. Office of governor thus needs to reform. Office of governor needs to change a bit. अब चेंज ऑफिस ऑफ गवर्नर में या फिर उनके अपॉइंटमेंट प्रोसेस में, इन सब में चेंज की जरूरत है. तो व्हाट शुड बी डन? What should be done to reform the office of governor? This is something that we have to study. So इसमें already various commissions, various committees have given a lot of good recommendations. For example, Punchi Commission says that when you are selecting a governor, don't select someone from political background. This person should be eminent person in some walk of life. This person should be from outside the state. This person should be a detached figure, not too much inclined into the politics of the state. He should be a person who has not taken too great a part in politics generally and particularly in recent past. This would give you a more neutral person rather than person with political affiliation. Then Sarkaria Commission have said that if state chief minister can also be consulted at the time of appointment of the governor, a more accepted governor, a more neutral governor could be there. Then the commission also say the Sarkaria Commission also says term of 5 years of the governor should not be disturbed except in extreme circumstances. So if I have been appointed as a governor, now suppose I am working neutrally, not as per the interest of the center. Center may remove me. Sarkaria Commission says that if you ensure fixed term, it will ensure more neutrality. So that should happen. So देखो, what are the things that need to change in order to make office of governor more effective? One, appointment process, some changes there. Removal, some changes there. Punchi Commission, Sarkaria Commission are talking about. Then in BP Singhal versus Union of India and others, certain other things were, certain other guidelines were given to governor to function as a constitutional head and not as a agent of the central government. It said in BP Singhal case, the Supreme Court said, Acha, before BP Singhal case, let's understand this, what used to happen earlier. In 1977, when Indira Gandhi lost elections and non-Congress party started ruling at the center for the first time, they replaced all the governors. Governors तो सारे स्टेट के गवर्नर्स कांग्रेस के द्वारा अपॉइंटेड थे. They replaced all the governors. In 1979, when Indira Gandhi came back to power, she again brought her own governors. Okay, something similar happened in 96, 97, and the same thing happened in 2004. 2004 में when UPA government came to power, उससे पहले BJP NDA was in power. उनके गवर्नर्स को रिप्लेस किया गया. That was challenged in the Supreme Court in the BP Singhal case. The BP Singhal judgment, which came in 2010, it said the governor cannot be replaced like this. There are a lot of other things. What are they saying? The bench, while noting the president can remove the governor from office at any time without assigning any reason, without giving any opportunity to show cause, the power to remove can't be exercised in an arbitrary, capricious and unreasonable manner. The power has to be exercised in rare and exceptional circumstance. For valid and compelling reason, a governor could not be removed on the ground that he is out of sync with the policies and ideologies of the union government or the party in the power at the center. This is what was happening. Every time the government was changing at the center, governors were being replaced, and the argument that was given was ideologically, policy-wise, the governor is not in sync with the center. But that's not the role of governor. Governor does not have to be in sync with center's ideology or center's policies. Governor is supposed to be the constitutional head of the state. So, what did the judgment say? Judgment said that president has power to remove governor and will not impose any restrictions or anything. But इस ground पे नहीं remove होने चाहिए. But at the same time, you understood BP Singhal judgment, broad idea. This judgment came in 2010. Now governor should not have been replaced. 2014 में government changed. All the governors were replaced. But this time, because BP Singhal judgment was there and center could not claim कि ideologically those governors are not in sync with us. That's why we are removing them. The governors were indirectly forced to resign. So अब 2014 में a lot of state governors resigned. They were not removed. They resigned. So we are talking about how the office of governor should change to become more effective, to become more neutral, to become less biased. We spoke about its appointment. We are speaking about the removal. Sarkaria Commission says that removal should not happen before 5 years unless in extreme or exceptional circumstances. BP Singhal judgment also says the same thing. Then to discretionary choice should also be dictated by reason in the event. Here we are saying ki one more reason why governors were acting as agent of center was when it came to discretionary powers. When it came to discretionary powers, governors did not have clear-cut rules. This is something that we should do, and that's why they act on their own whims and fancies. So यहाँ पे again there are lots of suggestions which are there. In the event of discretionary power being used by governor, his choice should not be arbitrary or fanciful. It must be choice dictated by reason, activated by good faith. Fixed time period should be there to give assent to the bill. Governor should not take a bill and keep it with himself. Then इससे देखो, इससे ये पता लग रहा है कि गिविंग असेंट टू द बिल में बी गवर्नर्स डिस्क्रेशन, जो मैंने पहले शुरू में एक गलत एग्जांपल दे दिया. ओके, अपॉइंटमेंट एंड डिसमिसल ऑफ द चीफ मिनिस्टर. हियर in case of no pre-poll coalition has a clear majority, Sarkaria Commission has given this order. So this could be followed. In case कोई एक पार्टी की मेजोरिटी नहीं है, कोई pre-poll coalition like NDA एक ग्रुप है पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज का, वो प्री-पोल कोalition होता है. अगर उनके पास भी मेजोरिटी नहीं है तो who should be chosen for becoming chief minister? यहां पे क्या हो रहा था? गवर्नर्स आर रैंडमली नहीं, गवर्नर्स आर चूजिंग अ पर्सन फ्रॉम द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी विच इज ऑल्सो रूलिंग एट द सेंटर. दैट शुड नॉट बी द केस. सरकारिया कमीशन हैज गिवन अ प्रायोरिटी ऑर्डर. द ग्रुप ऑफ पार्टीज विच हैड प्री-पोल अलायंस commanding the largest number, they could be chosen. The largest single party is taking a claim. If there is no group pre-poll alliance which has majority, largest single party. तो इसमें देखो, अब गोवा में क्या हुआ? Which was the largest single party? Congress. It was not chosen. Else it would have been, if the Sarkaria Commission recommendation could have been followed. Post-electoral coalition. In case of Maharashtra, a post-electoral coalition was formed. In case of Karnataka, a post-electoral coalition was formed. कर्नाटका में कांग्रेस एंड जेडीएस फॉर्म्ड अ पोस्ट इलेक्टोरल कोalition टू गेट मेजॉरिटी, बट वहां पे किसको, येदियुरप्पा जी को ऑप्शन दिया गया टू फॉर्म अ गवर्नमेंट, एंड हेयर फडणवीस जी गॉट इट in Maharashtra, again violation of the provision. So Sarkaria Commission has already given a priority order which should be followed at the time of appointment of the chief minister. That should be agreed upon. Then when it comes to imposing of president's rule, already in SR Bommai case, Supreme Court has given a set of guidelines which should be followed. For example, in the SR Bommai case, Supreme Court says president rule is subject to judicial review. Government can question, the state government can question imposition of president rule in the Supreme Court, and that's why you will see in case of Uttarakhand government was able to get themselves restated. It also said that if the court holds the presidential proclamation to be unconstitutional, it could reform the government. The state legislative assembly should be dissolved only after the parliament has approved the presidential proclamation. This is another aspect. When president rule is being imposed, state assembly should not be dissolved. It should be put in suspended animation. That is, it's not working, but it is there. And only when parliament passes the resolution approving president's rule, only after that state assembly could be dissolved. Secularism is one of the basic features of the constitution, and if a state government is not secular, center can say that you are not functioning as per the constitution and thus president rule could be imposed. तो देखो यहाँ पे भी प्रेसिडेंट रूल कब इंपोज होगा, कैसे होगा, ऑलरेडी एसआर बोम्मई जजमेंट में a number of conditions have been imposed. So in conclusion we can say that how the office of governor should be functioning, how the office of governor should be functioning is, or sorry, how the office of governor should be reformed. अपॉइंटमेंट कैसे होना चाहिए, रिमूवल कैसे होना चाहिए, what is the, like, what are the kind of people who should be chosen, right? प्रेसिडेंट रूल लगते टाइम क्या सिचुएशन होना चाहिए, हाउ चीफ मिनिस्टर शुड बी अपॉइंटेड. ऑलरेडी देयर आर commissions, committees, Supreme Court judgments which have given recommendations. तो हम सबको पता है how the office of governor needs to change. What is needed is the political will. Whoever forms government at the center, they feel like now is the time to enjoy the control over governors. When BJP was in opposition, they were very pissed off with the system and they wanted this to change. They used to refer to Punchi Commission, Sarkaria Commission, SR Bommai case and whatnot. When Congress is in opposition, they are referring to these cases and these commissions, and BJP is enjoying the control over the governors. So what is needed is a political consensus and political will to implement these regulations, to implement these guidelines to ensure that the office of governor remains constitutional head, office of governor remains neutral, and office of governor does not merely functions as the agent of the sector. Fine. Office of, so are we clear about the smaller topic, the pleasure doctrine or doctrine of pleasure? वो सबको समझ में आ रहा है, and overall the office of governor, the idea of office of governor is also clear to all of you. ठीक है, मेंस एग्जामिनेशन के लिए इसके बियॉन्ड ऑफिस ऑफ गवर्नर के बारे में कुछ नहीं पढ़ना है. You would see that all the latest articles also have covered the older articles, all the judgments, all the commissions, all the committees. This is your mains ka material for governor. You would see that all the past year questions could be done from it. I have given you some past year questions as well. Let's see if we are able to solve all those questions or not. अच्छा, ये तो यहाँ आ गए. 2018 मेंस में what were the major consideration to have the governor appointed and not elected? Will we be able to answer this? है ना? First, briefly define governor, एक single line में, introduction में, who's governor, and say that in India, under this article, governor is appointed by the president. The Constituent Assembly decided to go the appointment way rather than the election way because of the following reasons. And then conclude your answer. Fine, simple question, कोई इतना टेंशन नहीं है. Will we all be able to answer it? Second, ये तो मैंने अभी बनाया है, Doctrine of Pleasure न्यूज में था. What is Doctrine of Pleasure? Can a governor withdraw pleas of a minister continuing in office at her own discretion? What is Doctrine of Pleasure? Will we be able to write it? है ना? Write about its origin, है ना? And explain what is Doctrine of Pleasure. President, governor दोनों का समझा दो. Refer articles also. And then say कि can a minister be removed? There you start with minister का appointment कैसे होता है. Refer the constitutional article as well. Talk about the pleasure वाला provision there and say that it should be read in consonance with other provisions and mention which provision, जहाँ पे governor is supposed to act on the aid and advice of council of minister. These things read together show that governor cannot remove a minister at his own discretion, and if time permits, if space permits, also give the Constituent Assembly का argument. B.R. Ambedkar का statement on 4th of November 1948 in the Constituent Assembly, and through that give reasons for why that cannot happen. The role of governor of a state is clearly political even if his office is constitutional. Comment. Will we be able to answer that? Broadly ये बताना है कि कैसे गवर्नर ज्यादा पॉलिटिकल रोल प्ले कर रहा है, सेंटर का एजेंट बन गया है रादर देन वो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल हेड की तरह काम कर रहा है. एंड हियर यू मे ऑल्सो हैव टू ब्रीफली गिव सजेशंस टू हाउ दिस थिंग नीड्स टू चेंज. व्हाट आर द की रीजंस because of which the office of governor has remained controversial since its inception? अच्छा ये तो in this slide discuss the key measures suggested by Punchi Commission and Sarkaria Commission to make the post a linchpin between center and states. Will we be able to answer it? Straightforward question. Should the office of governor be abolished? Discuss in light of the recent controversy surrounding the office. क्या हम सब लिख पाएंगे? Office of, so we know the answer for all these questions. Are we all comfortable with it? Okay. Let's now go to GS paper. डायरेक्ट टैक्स रिफॉर्म्स ना. ओके, लेट्स डू दिस. हमने जीएसटी इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स रिफॉर्म जीएसटी तो पढ़ लिया है पक्का. इन द इनिशियल क्लासेस वी हैड डन इट एट जीएसटी लेवल. व्हाट आर द थिंग्स गोइंग ऑन? लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दिस. डायरेक्ट टैक्स रिफॉर्म्स, इंक्रीजिंग डायरेक्ट टैक्स बेस. अच्छा, देयर इज वन मोर थिंग. टुमारो वन ऑफ योर सीनियर्स, आपके सीनियर्स मतलब हमारे पुराने स्टूडेंट्स, जो एक आईएएस ऑफिसर है, उसकी शादी है ना, और उसने मुझे बुलाया है. नहीं छुट्टी नहीं, सुनो. तो मैंने उससे बोला है कि आई विल आस्क माई स्टूडेंट्स, अगर वो अलाउ करेंगे तो मैं जाऊंगा, नहीं तो कैसे नालायक लोग हो, जाओ सर. I will take an extra class for that. अगर कल क्लास नहीं लेते हैं, अगर if you wait, रुक जाओ, wait. तो if all of you allow me, only then I'll go. No, नहीं जा रहा है. चलो I'll take class then. मैं बोल दूंगा भाई तुम्हारे जूनियर्स ने अलाउ नहीं किया, आपको भी ले जा. आप लोग इनवाइटेड थोड़ी हो, जयपुर जाना है. अभी तो तुम इनवाइटेड थोड़ी हो. अब हैं? चलो 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 पढ़ लेते हैं, कल कल क्लास रखते हैं फिर, है ना। मेरे पास बहाना है, तुम्हारी शादियों में भी नहीं आ रहा हूं मैं, ध्यान रखना। तो अंडरस्टैंड वर्क प्रेशर, है ना, तो बुरा मत मानना जब आपकी शादियों में नहीं आऊं मैं तो। मेरी में तुम्हें क्यों बुलाऊंगा मैं, हैं? बेटा मेरी 3 बार हो चुकी, तुझे पता चला? तीनों ने तुझे बताया? कैसी कैसी बातें कर रहा है ये। सर आप तो जाएंगे ही टिकट, अरे नहीं कैब बुक है, करण सर तो जा ही रहे हैं ना। तो हाँ वैसे पक्का चले जाए, तो ट्यूसडे को एक्स्ट्रा क्लास होगी सुबह। वो तो वैसे भी होगी, हाँ वो वैसे भी होगी, ठीक है। क्या क्या बोल रहे हो? अच्छा मेरी कौन सी शादी वाली तो लड़की, बताओ। चलिए जियान जी बोल रहे हैं जाइए सर जाइए, जी लीजिए अपनी जिंदगी। बेटा मेरी जिंदगी। कितना नालायक है। डायरेक्ट टैक्स रिफॉर्म्स इंक्रीजिंग टैक्स बेस, चलिए इसे समझते हैं। ओके अभी न्यूज में था इन सितंबर, पहले अप्रैल वाला न्यूज देखते हैं, एक इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट कि इंडिया का, डू वी अंडरस्टैंड डायरेक्ट टैक्स इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स? ओके लाइक डायरेक्ट टैक्स इज समथिंग वेयर जिसको टैक्स, जिस पे टैक्स का बर्डन पड़ेगा, दैट पर्सन हिमसेल्फ, द पर्सन on whom the burden of tax is going to fall, that person himself or herself is paying tax. This is direct tax. For example, income tax. Income tax comes from your income and you only pay it. That is direct tax. But think of GST. You're buying a Parle Ji ka packet, right? You're giving 4 rupees. Some of that money may be going for GST. Who's paying that GST? The seller is paying that GST. But बर्डन किस पे पड़ रहा है? एंड कंज्यूमर पे पड़ रहा है ना, बट एंड कंज्यूमर इज पेइंग दैट इनडायरेक्टली, so this tax is indirect tax. GST would be an indirect tax. Custom duty, indirect tax. Custom duty would increase the price of the product. Eventually consumer will pay more, but this consumer is paying indirectly, so it is indirect. Fine. Direct tax, indirect. So give me some examples of direct tax. Income tax is direct tax. Corporate tax है ना, जो कंपनीज देती हैं फॉर देयर प्रॉफिट, दैट इज डायरेक्ट टैक्स. गिव मी सम मोर एग्जांपल्स ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्स, वन बाय वन. वेल्थ टैक्स, वेल्थ टैक्स अभी है क्या? एबॉलिश हो चुका है ना, बट दैट वुड हैव बीन डायरेक्ट टैक्स. मेरे पास कुछ वेल्थ है, उसका कुछ परसेंटेज एज टैक्स देना पड़ेगा. अब जितना मेरे पास वेल्थ है उतने के लिए नहीं, थोड़ा ज्यादा वेल्थ हो जाएगा तब, हो जाता तब. गिव मी सम मोर एग्जांपल ऑफ डायरेक्ट टैक्स. सॉरी, सिक्योरिटी ट्रांजैक्शन टैक्स, प्रॉपर्टी टैक्स पे आते हैं. सिक्योरिटी ट्रांजैक्शन टैक्स, व्हेन यू आर सेलिंग एंड बाइंग शेयर्स, तो उसमें ट्रांजैक्शन पे जो टैक्स लगता है आपसे ही कट रहा है, दैट इज डायरेक्ट टैक्स. कैपिटल गेन टैक्स, दैट इज डायरेक्ट टैक्स. टोल टैक्स, अच्छा वो टोल टैक्स तो वो एक्चुअली फी होता है वो, अच्छा जो नई गाड़ी, हाँ दैट इज डायरेक्ट टैक्स दैट यू पे. यस, तो दीज आर डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ टैक्सेस. नाउ इसके अलावा क्या है ना, कुछ आप सरचार्जेस वगैरह दे रहे हो, जैसे वंस योर इनकम crosses a particular amount you may have to pay education cess and all those things, है ना. those are also, but those are not taxes. वो cess, सरचार्ज, ये सारी चीजें. बट सबको डायरेक्ट टैक्स क्या है समझ में आया. लास्ट ईयर 2021-22, लास्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर, इंडिया रिसीव्ड इट्स हाईएस्ट डायरेक्ट टैक्स कलेक्शन एवर. गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया को डायरेक्ट टैक्स सबसे ज्यादा मिला अब तक जितना मिलता था उससे. ये देखिए, दिस वाज द न्यूज इन अप्रैल. नेट डायरेक्ट टैक्स कलेक्शन, नेट मतलब आफ्टर पेइंग फॉर एक्स्ट्रा एक्सपेंसेस फॉर कलेक्शन एंड ऑल, we have a entire department working on it after paying their salaries and everything. Net direct tax collection and after giving reimbursements and all, reached an all-time high of rupees 14.09 lakh crore in financial year 2021-22 against 9.45 lakh in financial year 2020-21. Now you may say that 2020-21 was not the right year for comparison, because 2021 में COVID की वजह से a lot of people income reduced, है ना? But even when you compare it with 2019-20, it is much higher. So our direct tax, like कल मैंने टेलीग्राम चैनल पे एक क्वेश्चन डाला था, it was I think about direct tax कि 2021-22 में हमारा net direct tax collection is the highest ever. It has been highest ever. So we have to understand why this collection increased, and then we also have to understand, is this good enough? Is our tax base high enough? Now, prelims के time we will study various other things, but mains में broader issues. Now, currently, as of March 2022, there are 7.14 crore ITRs which were filed in the country. So roughly 7.14 crore people are paying taxes in the country, paying direct taxes. Now, ये तो था data till last financial year, till March. What was the tax collection? We said it was the highest ever. Net direct tax collection was 14 lakh crore. You do not have to remember exact numbers. Exact number आप अपने main से पहले 2022 वाला याद रखोगे, है ना? So that briefly you can. In 2022, we are doing better than what we did in 2021-22. In this financial year, in 2022-23, we are doing way better than what we did in 2021-22. As of September 19th September 2022 तक जो tax collection है, it is 23% higher than last year. Net direct tax collection so far this financial year was 7 lakh crore. On till 19th September 2022, जब तक ये न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल पब्लिश हुआ था, जब तक का डेटा था, टैक्स कलेक्शन वाज 7 लाख करोड़, व्हिच वाज 5.68 लाख करोड़ इन 2021-22 वाला 6 months. 6 month नहीं, till 19 September. You may be saying कि सर लास्ट ईयर भी तो 14 लाख करोड़ का कलेक्शन हुआ, this year also 7 lakh crore का collection in 6 months, roughly 6 months. It's not that high. No. Most of the taxes are paid in the second half. Most of the businesses calculate कितना tax देना है and they pay it in the second half. Because understanding of the profit, जो fixed salary वाले लोग होते हैं, उनका तो हर महीने TDS कट रहा होता है. But for people who run their businesses, for them, exact picture on the profit comes only in the second half. Like since last 2 years, LevelUp has been in loss. मतलब financially थोड़ा सा loss में रहा है. तो in the end, in the March we decide ऐसा कोई tax नहीं भरना. In the past 2 years, this year we may go in profit. So still we haven't paid anything because we do not know the exact numbers, exact figures. Because अगर profit 1 लाख का ही बचेगा, आखिरी प्रॉफिट 10 लाख का ही बचेगा, तो हमें 10 लाख का टैक्स 2.5 लाख भरना पड़ेगा, 25%. प्रॉफिट 1 लाख का रहेगा तो 25,000 भरना पड़ेगा. इट वुड बी लाइक दैट. तो दैट्स व्हाई दिस नंबर इज वे लेस, वे मोर देन द लास्ट ईयर सिचुएशन. So this year, in financial year, collection would be very high. Direct tax is increasing like anything. The Chinese people, Jimmy, 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 आजा, 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 क्यों गा रहे हैं? ये ऑनलाइन में कोई कुछ भी कर रहा था ना. अब उसने अपने YouTube पे नाम भी एक्सप्लोरिंग लाइफ लिखा हुआ है. अरे उनको पहले आमिर खान पसंद था, अभी मिथुन चक्रवर्ती पसंद आया है. वो जिमी 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 समझे नहीं, वो गिव मी समझे हैं शायद उसे. नहीं, बिकॉज ऑफ लॉकडाउन एंड ऑल दे हैव स्कैर्सिटी, फूड स्कैर्सिटी एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. So this has become their anthem of protesting. No, anyways, not important for us. Let's come to so first, why it was in news. Why it was in news in April? Our last year's tax collection has been highest ever. Why it was in news in September 2022? अभी कुछ दिनों पहले ही न्यूज में था, because our numbers are way better than last year's. Now for people who have written mains and are preparing for interviews, ये चीजें हैं जो आपके ना दिमाग में रहना चाहिए पहले से, कि at the time of interview अगर आपसे कोई पूछे तो you should be like, I confidently I know. While reading newspaper also you would have known it, but because you are sitting in the classroom, you are listening to it, it would be more मतलब naturally coming to you कि yes, I'm pretty sure about this. Okay, so direct tax, चलिए let's start with the topic. Direct tax is the tax where impact and incidence lies on the same point. Impact तो आप पे पड़ ही रहा है, incidence भी आप पे ही है, tax भी आप भर रहे हो. This is direct tax. Direct taxes are generally progressive and thus are also highly elastic. Now what is meant by taxes being progressive, elastic? वैसे prelims का है, but progressive means someone whose income is much higher will pay more taxes and someone whose income is lesser will pay less tax. For example, we say that indirect taxes are regressive. Why do we say that indirect taxes are regressive? Think of GST and think of, let's say, this pen, and this pen, let's say it costed us 1,000 rupees and 1,000 rupees पे हमने उस पे हमने 18% GST दिया होगा, मान लो. I think इस पे 18% GST दिया होगा, तो we paid 180 rupees in GST. Okay, and then let's say what was LevelUp's income, total income 1 lakh rupees, उसमें 180 यहां चला गया. Now think of धीरू भाई अंबानी, नहीं मुकेश अंबानी, उनका इनकम कितना ज्यादा होगा. They also buy this pen, they pay the same 180 rupees. Percentage wise of their income or of their revenue, who paid more taxes? We paid more taxes. So indirect tax is regressive. Indirect tax is regressive as a percentage of income. As a percentage of income, it is poor people who end up paying more, rich people who end up paying less, and therefore it is said that government's dependency on indirect taxes should reduce. They should get more and more of their income from direct taxes, because direct taxes are progressive. The rich pay more and the poor pay less. Clarity hai? Are we able to connect? Now, it would not happen that when we go income wise to someone who's earning 1 crore and someone who's earning 1 lakh, percentage wise 1 lakh wala person will pay very less tax. India mein to abhi zero dega, but 1 crore wala person will, someone who's earning 1 crore rupees will be paying roughly 34-35% as tax. The moment your income crosses 50 lakh rupees, there are lots of surcharges and everything which comes into play. So it is direct tax is progressive, indirect tax is regressive. So these taxes are generally progressive in nature and are highly elastic. Why have I said generally progressive? Because here we are not specifically talking about India, here we are just defining what is direct tax. So generally all over the world these are progressive. Now suppose some country is there who's saying ki whatever you are earning, give me 10%. Then that's not progressive, right? Because the direct taxes are progressive, they bring I'm sorry. I have to take this call. Can you give me 1 minute? Just 1 minute. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry. Let's come back. So regressive, progressive, you have clarity over this? सबको clear है picture? Now, why is it important to increase direct tax base? Why it's crucial that our direct tax base goes up? It is already increasing, but why is it important as such in general? One, government gets more revenue. Government gets more revenue. Infrastructure improves, social sector improves, economic growth happens. Second, it fights inequality. We have already talked about it. Direct taxes, rich will pay more money, more percentage of their income as tax. It will go for the benefit of the country. Poorer people would benefit from it. Thus is beneficial. It has certain educative value as well. Why is it has educative value? See, when I pay, let's say, 10 lakh rupees as tax, मैं साल में 10 लाख रुपए टैक्स भरता हूं. Now, when I'm paying 10 lakh rupees, I will be like, I'll hold government accountable. Why the hell are they not doing this? मैं किस बात का टैक्स भर रहा हूं? Paying direct taxes are in this sense brings that civil responsibility which doesn't come from indirect tax. You buy a packet of biscuit and you eat it and you feel like आपने biscuit के लिए pay किया है. You do not realize that you have paid taxes as well for which you should be getting services. That does not happen. Then it has anti-inflationary properties as well. Anti-inflationary, inflation कम करेगा. Direct tax collection बढ़ेगा, people will be left with lesser money and inflationary tendencies would be much lesser. Fine, comfortable, सब लोग अच्छे से. Why increasing direct tax is crucial? Now, key reasons for recent increase in tax base. Tax base has gone up, direct taxes are increasing. Suppose the question is, discuss the key reason for recent increase in direct taxes. Reasons to ye hain, but you will introduce with some stats. In financial year 2021-22, India's net direct tax collection was 14 lakh crore, which was 35% more than the previous year. Introduction हो गया. देखो, introduction, you can do introduction in multiple ways. You can do introduction through definition. You can do introduction through some stats, figures. You can do introduction through some recent incidents. You can do introduction through some historical aspect about that, giving background about that. Okay, here we are doing introduction through some stats. We are saying कि हाँ, direct tax base बढ़ गया है. Now the reasons why it has gone up. First, revival of economic growth. After COVID-19, we have seen in general economy, industries, everything opened up. पिछले financial year में the income was suppressed. People got less income, so they were also ready to spend less money. So because they were spending less money, other people were getting less income. So overall, everyone was able to earn more money in 2021-22. When they were able to earn more money, they were able to pay more taxes. Then technological changes which Central Board of Direct Taxes have brought have also played an important role. Everybody's financial transaction from different source and different entities are being compiled. Your GST is linked with Aadhaar, your PAN card is linked with Aadhaar, your bank account is linked with Aadhaar. Now, doing any kind of fraud would be difficult. Right? You are getting salary, you are getting your consultation fee. Like we teachers used to get like in my previous institution, I used to get consultation fee. And because my salary was more than 20 lakh rupees a year, so they also used to give me GST. When I gave them a this thing invoice of 2 lakh rupees, they will give me 2,36,000 rupees. So 36,000 मैं GST portal पे भी डालूंगा, so they would get to know what my revenue is. So already details about my revenue data is there. बैंक में कितने पैसे आ रहे हैं, वो किसका आधार है, पैन कितना इनकम टैक्स, all those details are there, which reduces the chance of not paying taxes. Then initiatives like faceless assessment scheme. Now income tax has changed its way of functioning. Earlier what used to happen, some income tax officer was assigned to you, this income tax officer was from this region only, and in this scenario there would be higher chances of corruption. You would go and meet that officer, You would say थोड़े पैसे लेके settle कर लो. In faceless assessment, they have changed everything. In faceless assessment, the system is such that you never need to interact with an income tax official. Generally, the officer who would be investigating your account will not be from your region. कोई कोलकाता में बैठ के income tax officer is investigating your account. In these kind of situation, the overall system has been streamlined, system has been made transparent, system has been made easier, and tax collection has gone up. Then there are other reforms which have taken place in recent years. जैसे एक scheme था विवाद से विश्वास scheme. Under विवाद से विश्वास scheme, what happened was a lot of tax disputes which were pending. वहाँ पे government gave certain रियायत्स. Let us settle it. We will give you certain benefits, and you settle this thing once and for all. So what happened? A lot of pending payments, with some reduction, actually came. Increased the tax base, expansion of the scope of TDS, TCS. See, now understand this. When we pay our employees, a part of their salary, we deduct tax deduction at source and submit it to income tax department. Now it is difficult for this employee to hide his income. Why? Because government already knows कि इसको इतने पैसे मिले थे क्योंकि उसका इतना percentage is deposited with the income tax department, right? So when we increase the scope of TDS, increasing the scope of TDS means some other kinds of payments where TDS is applicable now. So now even for those kind of payments when TDS is applicable, their TDS is deposited with the government. The government knows what is the amount of money they got, which was not known earlier. Earlier, TDS was deductible only for salaries, only for professional fees. But now TDS is deductible for a number of other kinds of payments. So what happens? More and more people come under this tax net. Streamlining of GST system has played an important role. Now GST is for indirect tax, but as I have explained you, GST is indirect tax, but say you get to know the revenue of a person, revenue of a company. You know, you have an idea about their expenditure. So hiding taxes becomes difficult. Cross-seeding of PAN and bank account, linking PAN with Aadhaar, steps to expand digital payment system, steps towards formalization of economy, all these things have contributed towards increase in taxes. Simplified processes. System of digital assessment. If you go 15 years back, filing your income tax return was very difficult. So people were like, हमें भरना ही नहीं tax, हमें पढ़ना ही नहीं इन पचड़ों में. Now income tax return filing is very easy. 2012-13 2 साल मैंने खुद से अपना फाइल कर दिया था. Then my younger brother became a CA. मैंने कहा तू देख. But otherwise it was that simple. You could go to a website, and I was not a CA or commerce wala person. It was very simple. It has been further simplified. For salaried people, it is becoming more and more simple. And towards this only, one country, one ITR initiative has been launched. Why are we discussing this topic? Not only because of the September news, also because one nation, one ITR is another initiative to simplify the tax filing system. Simplified ITR, ease of getting refund, majorly by small and medium taxpayers, have also encouraged for filing of ITR. Now you would see that by July, August, आपको जो income tax department से refund आना होता है आ जाता है, because everything is happening online. It's happening in a very streamlined manner. So think of a person whose income is less than 5 lakh rupees. Now his TDS is also being deducted and is being deposited with the government. Now when this person will file ITR, no, all this money which has been given to government will be returned back to this person. Now this mechanism has been simplified. So now this person is ready कि मेरा TDS कट के जा रहा है, fine, I will get this money back. So इससे more and more people are ready to come under the income tax system. Now advantage of this is, you may feel कि sir, then why are we bringing these people in the income tax regime? This is unnecessary burden for government. पहले the money is going there and the government is returning the money. This may be an unnecessary burden, but think of this. These people will increase their income, no, in future. यू विल हार्डली सी समवन जिसका इनकम 5 लाख रहेगा और 5 लाख ही रहेगा. एवरी टाइम देयर इनकम इज गोइंग टू गो अप. So if you bring them in tax net now, 3 years down the line, 4 years down the line, they may actually be taxpayers. And if they have been brought under tax net now, they will not be going out of tax net. So bringing people under tax net is important. Okay. The above growth, so these are various initiatives. Now I have not listed a lot of things because when we will write mains examination, tab tak in this budget a number of initiatives would be taken. In our answers, more such initiatives should be there जो अभी बजट में लिए गए हैं रिगार्डिंग सिंप्लीफाइंग द टाइम, जो इस फाइनेंशियल ईयर में लिए जाएंगे. तो नाउ वी हैव डन दिस टॉपिक. व्हेनेवर यू रीड समथिंग न्यू, add it here, something that is being done to simplify the direct tax system in the country. But in spite of all this, tax base is still very low. India has around 30 crore PAN card holders, but only 7 crore person file ITR. सिर्फ 7 करोड़ लोग अगर इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल कर रहे हैं. इनकम टैक्स रिटर्न फाइल करने वाले, नॉट एवरीवन इज एक्चुअली पेइंग टैक्सेस. एज आई टोल्ड यू, सम पीपल जस्ट गेट देयर मनी बैक by filing ITR. Out of 130 crore population, only 7 crore people are paying taxes. This shows that there is still a lot of scope of improvement, and we need a lot of money. Government need a lot of money. We are still a developing country, still a lot of money. India में बहुत सारा पैसा अभी भी indirect taxes से आ रहा है. We want to reduce that dependency. As we have already said, indirect taxes are regressive. So what more needs to be done? So first of all, situation is improving, that you understand, but situation is still not good enough because tax base is still very low and direct tax to GDP ratio is only around 12%. If you'll go to countries like Sweden and all, no, government उनकी इनकम का roughly 50% तक टैक्स ले लेती है. Average of their income, around 50% of that goes in the form of tax. But still people are very happy there. Still people are, those are the places which in happiness index where you'll have the best possible life. Norway, Sweden, Finland. Because government is able to give all these services and everything. So when we look at these, when we compare our numbers with their numbers, it shows that there is a lot of scope for improvement. Fine. How should that be done? So why still the tax base is lower than the potential? First is the complex law. Income tax law जो इंडिया का है 1961 वाला, it's very old. 1961. It's been 61 years. System has changed. Technologies have changed. Tax rates have changed. Number of taxpayers have changed. Tax department has changed. But still the law remains complex. The law creates a lot of problem. This is becoming a major issue, a major problem. Second, because it is very complex, we generally hire CAs, we generally hire an accountant, and it complicates the process, it increases the cost. So now think of this. All of you have paid money by online transaction, है ना? Think of this. हमने ना कोई CA रखा होता, हमने ना कोई बैंक अकाउंट रखा होता, हमने ना कोई अकाउंटेंट रखा होता. आप सबसे कैश ले लेके अपने पास रख लेते. कंप्लायंस कॉस्ट भी कम होता, टैक्स भी कम होता ना, right? This is what most of the people are doing. Why get into trouble? Why hire an accountant? Why hire a CA? Why complicate things? Whereas if the law was simple, then for us life would have been simpler. Abhi mujhe, like at LevelUp, I'm the person who's supposed to take care of the accounts. मुझे हर महीने 2-3 दिन CA के साथ बैठ के सिर खपाना पड़ता है. क्या गड़बड़ हो गई है, कहां से मिस, in spite of the fact that I try to be as honest as possible. आपने देखा होगा चाहे कुछ भी हुआ हो, हमने किसी से कैश नहीं लिया. किसी भी सिनेरियो में बच्चे लेके भी आ गए, हमने कहा बैंक में जाके डिपॉजिट करके आओ. वी आर ट्राइंग टू बी वेरी ऑनेस्ट बट स्टिल वी हैव टू वेस्ट सो मच टाइम. ये मैच नहीं हो रहा, बैंक में इतने पैसे आए हैं, बिकॉज compliance regime is very difficult even today. Taxes are high. Income tax rates in India are high. Because income tax rates are high, people are not ready to pay taxes. I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. In 2012, Arun Jaitley, when he was leader of opposition, was demanding कि 30% जो टैक्स इंडिया में लगता है, टैक्स लगता है, दैट इज अबाउट 10 लाख रुपीज का इनकम, इट शुड बी इंक्रीज टू 20 लाख. दिस इज, इट्स बिन 10 ईयर्स, 10 ईयर्स पहले ये डिमांड हो रही थी. दिस शोज दैट इंडिया में टैक्स रेट बहुत ज्यादा है, स्पेशली फॉर लोअर इनकम, इवन फॉर लोअर इनकम पीपल टैक्स रेट्स आर वेरी हाई. नाउ अंडरस्टैंड इट फ्रॉम डिफरेंट पर्सपेक्टिव. इन 2010, for your income of more than 10 lakh rupees, जो taxable income was more than 10 lakh rupees, जो taxable income was more than, उस पे you had to pay 30% tax. Now 2010 का 4 लाख रुपए आज के 10 लाख के बराबर है. 2010 का सॉरी आज का 10 लाख रुपए 2010 के 4 लाख के बराबर है. 2010 का 10 lakh rupees is equivalent to around 25 lakh rupees of today. If you look at inflation, if you look at the value of land, if you look at the rent, ORN का rent देख लो, 2010 में you could get a room in ORN in 3,000 rupees. Today you pay 25,000 rupees. रूम भाई, रूम का 40,000 देते हो. पैसा हो तो इतना हो, है ना, कि 40,000 रूम का रेंट दे रहे हो दिल्ली में, पोल्यूशन में, गैस चेंबर में, है ना. पैसा इतना होना चाहिए, हाइट है. एनीवेज, तो ये सोचो उस टाइम का 10 लाख आज उसका वैल्यू क्या है आज, लेट्स से 25 लाख. तो इन अ वे a person who was earning 25 lakh rupees of today at that time was paying 30%. आज अब, और a person who was earning 4 lakh rupees at that time, sorry 4 lakh rupees of that time's value today is paying 30% tax. क्या मैं समझा पाया सब ना? 2010 में a person who was earning 4 lakh rupees is living the same kind of life which a person in 2020 who's earning 10 lakh rupees is living. अभी समझ में आया? Because of inflation and everything. But this person was paying tax at the rate of 10%. Whereas this person is paying tax at the rate of, अब समझ में आया कि सेम इनकम लेवल पे the people are paying much higher taxes. The people would run away from taxes. So we are saying tax rates being very high tax rates is a recipe for low tax compliance. लेफर कर्व भी सुना है ना? जैसे जैसे टैक्स रेट बढ़ेगा, टोटल टैक्स पहले बढ़ेगा पर फिर वो कम होना. तो यू हैव टू फाइंड एन आइडियल सिचुएशन. देन पुअर टैक्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन. यू मस्ट बी नोइंग दैट सिविल सर्विसेज में जिन लोगों को बहुत करप्शन करना होता है वो टैक्स डिपार्टमेंट ज्वाइन करते हैं. बहुत पैसे कमाने होते हैं वहां जाते हैं. क्यों? क्योंकि करप्शन लेवल इज हाई एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी हैव टू कम अप विद फेसलेस असेसमेंट एंड ऑल दोस थिंग्स. तो एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में अ लॉट ऑफ टैक्स एवेडर्स गो स्कॉट फ्री. Income tax department doesn't have resource to deal with small tax evaders. Corruption is rampant in income tax department. Complaints of harassment by income tax officials are also there. Now, if you are a small taxpayer, no, जिसका 20-25 लाख का इनकम है और थोड़ा बहुत टैक्स है, income tax department doesn't even look at your data. They do not have resources for these things. आप बड़े टैक्स फ्रॉड कर रहे हो तब they look at your data. Now what happens is, if as a small taxpayer I'm stealing money, what happens? जब मैं बड़ा taxpayer बनूंगा, even then I'll find mechanisms for stealing money. तो टैक्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में रिसोर्सेज की कमी है, टैक्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में करप्शन है, टैक्स एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन में हरासमेंट है. all these things are creating problems. Some steps have been taken. A task force was chaired by Arvind Modi. He has given some suggestions. Earlier, the government discontinued with the wealth tax provision, have promised not to return it and not to return to retrospective taxation. These are certain steps that have been taken. Then abhi again one nation one ITR regime has been launched. Then हमने पहले भी कुछ steps देखे हैं which have been taken to improve the tax base in the country. But what more needs to be done? First, we need to come up with a simplified direct tax law. This is very important. This is very crucial. The legal framework needs to change. Did we cover direct tax code? Direct tax code हमने नहीं पढ़ा ना, कोई बात नहीं. I'll briefly talk about it. See, the way we have GST. What has GST done? A number of indirect taxes, it has brought it under the same code, same law. It has simplified lots of things. Pehle, there was a service tax related regime, there was a sales tax related regime, and there were different laws for this. Think of the compliance burden. So now there is a single GST, a single law which can solve all your problem. In the same way, direct tax system is problematic, complicated. Suggestions have been given कि like GST, we should bring direct tax code. This direct tax code can simplify our tax regime, can make it up to date. In the same way, the way we have GST Council, in the same way, we should have Direct Tax Council, which will periodically update the tax rates and other provisions. GST Council can change tax rates and everything. देखो direct tax में अपनी लगी हुई है. We are paying much more tax than what people in 2010 were paying. Direct tax में, this is the scenario. Government has reduced tax rate for corporate sector. LevelUp pays 25% tax income होने पे, but employees, we as individuals will pay 30% tax. Reliance would pay 25% tax. Employees there will pay 30% tax. So tax rate needs to come down. And if a direct tax council was there, it could have kept it updated. Otherwise, we do not realize it कि 4 लाख और 10 लाख बराबर कर रखा है हमने. अगर if you look at the numbers like this, you will understand the how wrong it is. Not reducing the tax rate, how it is. Government is taking more and more money from people, more and more money out of their pocket. देखो यार, अरे नहीं यार, तुम ना, जैसे हमने बताया ना कि जैसे ही आप टैक्स रेट कम करोगे ना, और ज्यादा लोग टैक्स बेस के अंदर आएंगे और ज्यादा पैसा आएगा. इन्फ्लेशन की वजह से ही तो हम बोल रहे हैं कि इन्फ्लेशन 35% है क्या? नहीं है ना. गवर्नमेंट का टैक्स 35% से बढ़ा है, तो तुम ऐसे नहीं लड़ते. एंड आई एम सेइंग कि गवर्नमेंट का टैक्स और बढ़ जाएगा. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड दिस. इफ मोर पीपल वुड बी ब्रॉट अंडर टैक्स नेट, देखो ऐसे समझो, सिर्फ शॉर्ट मॉनिटरी टर्म्स के बेसिस पे सोचोगे तो व्हेन गवर्नमेंट रिड्यूस द टैक्सेस, कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर का, कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर पेज मोर टैक्स, गवर्नमेंट रिड्यूस देयर टैक्स, it would have negative burden, but government knows reduction in tax will bring in more player, more investment, and overall government's income will go up. That's why government has reduced tax for corporate sector. In the same way, why was Arun Jaitley way back in 2012 saying इसको 10 लाख से 20 लाख करिए in 2012? Because it would have reduced burden on people, plus more people would have been brought under tax base. Fine. So direct tax council लाना है so that periodically tax rates could be revived. Increasing compliances. तो compliance increase करने के लिए reduce tax rate for personal income tax as well. Simplify tax filing. So for example, अभी जो recent step हमने लिया है, जो when it comes into force, tax filing would be simplified further. Then focus on behavioral change. Behavioral change. Right now, a tax evader is not seen with a lot of disrespect in society. A taxpayer is seen as someone stupid. बेवकूफ आदमी है. right? So we have to change this behavior where people who are paying taxes are respected, government recognizes them, government give extra benefits to them, and people who are avoiding taxes unpe extra penalty lage so that overall taxes go up. Then enhance use of new technologies like AI and machine learning. If you remember artificial intelligence padhte time humne bataya tha ki how government can use AI to increase to find money launderers, to find black money. So use technology to find more people who are evading taxes, and then bring agriculture under income tax regime. Now some of you may become very unhappy, इसलिए पहले बता देता हूँ. It's a good step. It's a good step. Now when we say that, some of you may say कि सर फार्मर्स का तो ऐसे इनकम थोड़ा सा है ना. देखो भाई, जिन फार्मर्स का इनकम वैसे भी 5 लाख से कम है, 5 लाख से कम इनकम पे तो टैक्स लगता ही नहीं. And more than 90% of farmers in India have annual income of less than 5%. So more than 90% farmers will not be paying any tax at all. More than 90% of the farmers in India will not be paying. But there are farmers who are earning in crores. There are non-farmers जो अपना इनकम फार्मिंग का दिखा के टैक्स नहीं भर रहे हैं. तो ब्रिंगिंग एग्रीकल्चर अंडर टैक्स कैन ब्रिंग इन increased revenue and improved benefits for farmers. Abhi I'll tell you, NCR mein what has happened is, jaise in Bhiwadi, my hometown, people who have a lot of land, they have created unauthorized colonies there. They earn a lot of rent from it, and they show it as agriculture income only, because colonies are unauthorized, so they are not residential areas. If they are not residential areas, तो आप उस पे वैसे तो colonies बना ही नहीं सकते, तो आप उसे agriculture income के form में दिखा रहे हो. When you are showing it as an agriculture income, you don't pay any tax. But is that agriculture income? That's not agriculture income. There are people who earn 5 lakh, 10 lakh, 15 lakh, 20 lakh rupees a month as rent, and then they don't pay any tax. So I'm not saying earning more money is wrong, but those people should be brought under tax net. When I earn 20 lakh rupees a year, I end up paying 4-5 lakh rupees as tax. Someone who's earning 20 lakh rupees in a month should be paying more tax. There are farmers who earn in crores from agriculture also. They should be paying tax, no? That tax can go to for the benefit of small farmers. So bring agriculture under tax regime. There can be more riayat here. Riayat in the sense, in order to ensure that only super rich farmers pay, make it like if your agriculture income is more than 10 lakh, only then pay tax. But jiska agriculture income, final income is more than 10 lakh rupees, they should be paying tax. And very less number of farmers are there whose agriculture income is less than 10 lakh rupees, they should be paying taxes. Abraham Maslow is saying, भाई 40K में हमारा 4 महीने का बजट होता है. Fine. So I hope you have clarity on direct tax. Why is it increasing? Why the increase is not enough? What more needs to be done? Now come to One Nation One ITR, which was in news recently. One Nation One ITR. So देखो, what is income tax return? पहले let's understand that. What is income tax return? An income tax return is a form used to file information about income and tax to the income tax department. At the end of financial year, you tell income tax department, this is my total income and this is the tax that I am paying. You do it through income tax return. So it is a form through which you tell income tax department about your income and about the taxes that you have paid. This is income tax return. Simply, will we all be able to define it? Income tax return is a form through which you tell income tax department about your income and about your taxes. Right now in India, there are 7 different types of income tax return. Income tax return 1, uska ek simplified one, now it's available in simplified 1-page form called Sahaj. It is for small and medium taxpayers. It can be filed by individuals whose income is less than rupees 50 lakh. with earning from salary, one house property and from other sources. There is income tax return 2. It is filed by people whose income is more than 50 lakh. यहाँ पे देखो less than 50 lakh वाले थे, यहाँ more than 50 lakh with income from residential property, income from lottery or horse race etc. बहुत सारी चीजें, I have not given everything. So individuals, small and medium taxpayers whose income is less than 50 lakh, whose income is more than 50 lakh. ITR 3 is for income as profit from businesses and profession. So ITR 3 जो बिजनेस रन कर रहे हो उससे जो इनकम आ रही है, और if you are a professional, like if you are a lawyer, if you are a doctor, if you are an teacher, this is a profession. There are some teachers who earn salaries from schools and colleges, right? We get professional fee. In the private sector, we get professional. We are not like, I'm not an employee of LevelUp IAS. I have a professional contract with LevelUp IAS. I get consultation fee. So that, where would I be filing my taxes? ITR 3. ITR 4, Sugam. It's a simple form and can be filed for individuals, Hindu undivided family and firms with total income of rupees 50 lakh from businesses and profession. ITR 5 and ITR 6 is for limited liability partnerships. कुछ companies होती हैं, कुछ LLPs होती हैं. तो LLPs के लिए ITR 5 and ITR 6 is there. ITR 7 is filed by trust and non-profit organization. So non-profit organization and trust, they are not supposed to be earning a lot of income and all, तो उनके लिए एक अलग simplified mechanism है. These are the 7 forms that we have. Government has proposed, or rather than government, we should be more specific and say CBDT has proposed that the first 6, 7th वाला वैसे ही रहेगा, the first 6, 1 to 6 would be merged into a single form. All taxpayers except trust and non-profit organization, except ITR 7 wale, will be able to use a common ITR form which will include a separate head for disclosure of income from virtual digital assets as well. Virtual digital assets are supposed to be charged at 30% tax rates, है ना? So there would be a separate head for virtual digital asset as well. अभी तक ITR form में separate head नहीं है virtual digital asset के लिए, they would also bring in that. And this will simplify a lot of things. Right now what happens is, no, for different kinds of income taxpayer, there are different deadlines, there are confusions and all those things are there. This single form will take away all those problems. There would be a well-defined schedule. Everyone would have a single form to fill. So single form में different heads can be there. All other heads may not be applicable. Most of the things would be pre-filled so that life is easier. Once it gets final approval, abhi to they have proposed it. It has gone to all the stakeholders. They will give their feedback by mid of December. Once CBDT approves it, we will look at more details कि इसके अंदर क्या क्या होने वाला है. But when a question on direct tax reforms come, there this is one of the steps that government is taking in order to improve the direct tax system in the country. Okay, let's go to Central Board of Direct Taxes के बारे में मैंने मतलब what is this body? This is a statutory body. It has a chairperson and वो सारी चीजें प्रीलिम्स के लिए फैक्ट है, आपको इंपॉर्टेंट है, प्लीज एक बार पढ़िएगा. आई एम गोइंग टू द नेक्स्ट टॉपिक, विंड एनर्जी. there are some doubts. Wait, sir, explain Hindu undivided family. Okay, but sir अगर एग्रीकल्चर को टैक्स में इंक्लूड किया फिर से बवाल होगा. अगेन नहीं होगा बवाल, फिर से ना आप समझ नहीं रहे हो. मोस्ट ऑफ द फार्मर्स विल नॉट बी अफेक्टेड. 14% फार्मर्स वर अफेक्टेड. 86 मतलब 14 और एक पूरे रीजन के फार्मर्स वर अफेक्टेड. दैट विल नॉट बी द केस व्हेन दिस इज ब्रॉट. फाइन. तो farm laws were not wrong. Please understand this. The way it was brought was wrong. Consultation was not held. Farmers were not brought on board. They were not convinced that their interest would not be affected in a negative manner. So the way it was brought was problematic. So when I'm saying that farmers should be brought under tax regime, I'm not saying कि कल ordinance pass कर दो, फिर farmers protest कर रहे होंगे तो उन्हें दिल्ली में मत घुसने दो. No. First, start discussion over it. let the opposition have their viewpoint, let farmers have their viewpoints, and then bring it in. In this process of discussion, let everyone get aware कि भाई only super rich ones are going to pay taxes, not the poorer ones. And farming में income बहुत कम होती है. Agriculture is not a very lucrative business. It's like some farmers have become super rich in NCR region because land का price बढ़ गया है. The same amount of land, go to a village in remote areas, go to a village in Chhattisgarh, go to a village in Bihar, it will not give you any profit. Agriculture is not a very profitable venture. But there are some people who have lots of land and lots of income. They should be paying tax. Okay. Hindu undivided. Now what is Hindu undivided family? देखो, in the Income Tax Act, there are provisions for individuals paying taxes. There is also this provision कि जैसे let's say my family, मैं हूं, मेरे पापा है, मम्मी है, भाई है, भाई की वाइफ है, उसका बच्चा है, तो बच्चा तो अभी will not be paying taxes, but all 5 of us are supposed to pay taxes. So we can pay taxes at individual level, or we can get a HUF created, Hindu undivided family. As a legal person, we can get that created, and we can put some of our income there, and that HUF may also become an entity who would be paying taxes. Now, people generally use it to save taxes. How would it save taxes? Let's say my income currently is 20 lakh. Let's say tomorrow it becomes 50 lakh rupees. Let's say the 3 years down the line it becomes 1 crore rupees. वो scenario है. Now when my income is above 50 lakh rupees, I'll have to pay 33% as tax, right? So rather than taking all my income in my personal account, I will say let some of the income go to HUF account. So let 25 lakh rupees come to my account and 25 lakh rupees go to HUF account. तो मेरा इंडिविजुअल का इनकम टैक्स 25 लाख के हिसाब से लगेगा, HUF का इनकम टैक्स 25 लाख के हिसाब से लगेगा. फर्स्ट 5 लाख इज एग्जेम्प्टेड, 2.5 लाख इज एग्जेम्प्टेड हियर, 2.5 लाख उसका भी एग्जेम्प्ट हो गया, टोटल हमारा कितना एग्जेम्प्ट हो गया, 5 लाख एग्जेम्प्ट हो गया. ऐसे ही ओनली व्हेन द इनकम गोज बियॉन्ड 50 लाख देयर इज सम extra surcharge and all those things which will not be applied in any of the cases. So this extra benefit is available to the formation of an entity HUF. Like my younger brother has also suggested us कि एक HUF create करते हैं. इनका रहन देना, गवर्नमेंट थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही टैक्स ले लेगी. But after a certain income, people would want to get HUF created. And I may also want कि यार इतने पैसे टैक्स में भर रहे हैं, एक HUF भी create कर. And that is a completely legal mechanism. Okay, anyways, let's come back to wind energy. Okay, ये लास्ट टॉपिक 5 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है. 5 मिनट का मतलब पता है ना, 15 मिनट है ना, 15 मिनट में खत्म हो जाएगा. विंड एनर्जी देखो, आई एम नॉट डीलिंग विथ एडवांटेजेस ऑफ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी, वी ऑल नो दैट, है ना. और वो नहीं भी है तो हम रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी करके जब टॉपिक पढ़ेंगे उसमें पढ़ लेंगे. लेट्स स्टार्ट विथ करंट सिचुएशन ऑफ विंड एनर्जी. Current situation of wind energy in India. Do you know the targets for wind energy? By 2022, we are supposed to achieve 60 gigawatt of onshore wind energy and 5 gigawatt of offshore wind energy. Our renewable energy target is of 175 gigawatt by 2022. Right now, what have we reached? As of September 2022, we have reached 41.67 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity. But when we look at our potential as per National Institute of Wind Energy at a hub height of 120 meters. Hub height मतलब wind turbine का जो height 120 meters का रहेगा. Our potential is of 602 gigawatt and 100 gigawatt of fixed or floating offshore. Offshore is like जो water bodies पे हम turbines लगा के करते हैं जहाँ land की जरूरत नहीं होती, that is offshore. 100 gigawatt potential वहाँ भी है. तो total potential is roughly of 700 gigawatts. What is the capacity right now? 41 gigawatts. We are way below our potential. We are not even achieving the 2022 wala goal of 60 gigawatts. In fact, you would see that in recent years, we have not improved much on wind energy. During UPA government, wind energy had much higher percentage. UPA government solar पे इतना focus, they launched national solar mission and all, but यहाँ पे NDA government में wind energy has been ignored. You see, 2020, 21 and last year only 1 gigawatt, roughly 1 gigawatt has been added. Target is of 60 gigawatt by 2022. 40 से 60 जा पाएंगे क्या? September में we are at 41 gigawatt. We are not reaching this target. By 2030, target is of 140 gigawatts. Looks difficult. Right? पहले तो हमने समझा stats wise कि wind energy में we are not doing very well. Now, why are we not doing very well? What are the factors? One key problem that has occurred is this: moving from feed-in tariff to e-reverse auction mechanism. Now, wind energy was already being made available at very low cost. Wind energy was very competitive, was being made available at very low cost. But जब हम ये रिवर्स ऑक्शन सिस्टम पे मूव हुए ना, रिवर्स ऑक्शन सिस्टम मतलब कंपनीज वुड कम एंड ऑक्शन, आई विल सप्लाई विंड एनर्जी एट 3 rupees per unit, I will supply at reverse auction 2.9, I will supply at 2.8. यहाँ ऑक्शन में ऐसे आगे बढ़ने वाला नहीं, रिवर्स ऑक्शन, I will supply at 2.5. The costs have come so down that wind energy have become infeasible for players. This has become a cause of concern. Now, two states, Gujarat and Tamil Nadu, these states are very suitable for wind energy because the wind blow, the speed of wind blowing here is much better. So, other than these two states, in other states, wind energy projects have become difficult. In these two states, load factor is higher. Load factor is higher का मतलब, what is load factor? Do we understand? Load factor is this. If the potential is of 40 gigawatts, let's say there's a wind power plant whose potential is 100 megawatt, whose capacity is of 100 megawatt. 100 megawatt capacity means if it functions like in its full potential 24 hours, then it will produce you 100 megawatt. But there would be times जब wind blow नहीं हो रहा ना, so it will be producing at lower levels. So PLF of 60%, plant load factor of 60% means that it is producing at 60% potential and so on. So basically we are saying that PLF is higher for Tamil Nadu and Gujarat, and because of higher wind speed, वहाँ पे projects have remained feasible, but at other places projects have become very difficult. Then in recent years there have been surge in commodity price. In general, inflation has been there, which has become a problem. Inconsistent policy environment in the country have also become an issue. For example, in 2016, government decided to withdraw 50% accelerated depreciation benefit to industry from 2017, and this was an inconsistent policy. Government should have continued with the policy. Now, what is this 50% of accelerated depreciation benefit? इसे ऐसे समझिए. Today, when I bought this screen, क्या बोलेंगे इसे? TV, स्मार्ट बोर्ड, विंकिन सही अंग्रेजी बोलती है, स्मार्ट बोर्ड. It costed 3.2 lakh rupees. So the expense of the smart board for us was 3.2 lakh rupees. Now, next year, government allows us 20% depreciation. They say कि आपके बोर्ड का वैल्यू 20% कम हो गया है, तो आप अपने उसे ना जितना आपका इनकम होगा पूरे पे इनकम मत भरो, 20% depreciation का जो ये अमाउंट होगा, 20% depreciation, let's say 60,000 rupees. Because your asset has reduced by 60%, reduce that. Reduce it from your income. This is depreciation. So, if 50% depreciation was available, I could have got 1.5 lakh rupees ka discount on my tax. If I was going to pay tax on 10 lakh rupees, if depreciation was of 50%, I would have reduced it by 1.6 lakh rupees. So higher depreciation means that investors, तो आज मैंने टर्बाइंस में, विंड टर्बाइंस में इन्वेस्ट किया, नेक्स्ट ईयर आई विल बी एबल टू टेक 50% डेप्रिसिएशन. आई विल बी एबल टू से कि 50% ऑफ माय वैल्यू इज लॉस्ट देयर, so I am deducting that from my income. I'll be paying lesser taxes. Otherwise, depreciation is generally available at 20% rate. For electronic good, it's available at 20% rate. Higher depreciation is done. Higher depreciation is given to attract more investment in that field. That was done away. So it is inconsistent policy, which also inconsistent policies reduce investment in any area. Then infrastructure and transmission bottlenecks are there. Infrastructure and transmission bottlenecks are, for example, आपने wind power plant बना भी दिया गुजरात में, वहां से wind power plant से energy transfer करने के लिए you need infrastructure. We have a lot of transmission losses. Sometimes all the wind turbines are located in an area and the electricity transition becomes choked. The infrastructure is not good enough to supply electricity. That problem is there. Then there are legacy challenges. What are legacy challenges? Legacy challenges are actually these things only. Infrastructure related, or discoms are facing losses, so discoms are not able to deal with the traditional problems. Then declining cost of solar based power generation have also become a problem for wind energy. Wind energy is not able to compete with solar based system, which has become a cause of concern, which has become a issue. So what needs to be done? इन्हीं problems को solve करने की बात कर रहे हैं. In order to make wind energy system more successful, we are saying that our policy should not keep on changing. There should be well-defined policy attracting more investment. We should focus on repowering. What is repowering? Older wind turbines. So wind energy has been produced in the country for many decades now. Focus on those older turbines also, improve the infrastructure there, improve the production from there also. Work on solving legacy challenges, strengthening transmission infrastructure, discoms, and changing state and state land policies. Land policy is one of the legacy challenge where acquiring land for setting up wind turbines becomes difficult. Develop offshore wind roadmap, wind energy roadmap. Offshore wind energy have its own advantages. Offshore में हवा ज़्यादा चलती है, offshore में land acquisition वाला problem नहीं होता है, but creating offshore wind power plants is difficult. But in a country like India where high population density is there, land scarcity is there, offshore can be a huge advantage for us. Focus on that more. Create export potential for wind energy equipment also. Like develop wind energy industries in India, develop greater varieties of equipments, high quality of equipment, and look at export potentials also. Energy का भी और wind energy equipment का भी. All these things are crucial to make wind energy achieve its potential in the country. आज हमने आंसर लिखवाने पे फोकस नहीं किया, तो नेक्स्ट क्लास में विल राइट 2 आंसर्स. जब भी हम नेक्स्ट क्लास लेते हैं, आज रुकते हैं यहीं पे. आई विल सी यू ऑन ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे, थर्सडे. हाँ, ट्यूसडे, वेडनेसडे, थर्सडे 3 दिन आपकी एक्स्ट्रा क्लास होगी. ट्यूसडे को तो विल डू द वीकली करंट अफेयर्स ओनली, एंड वेडनेसडे, थर्सडे विल डू टारगेट मेंस, डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट. फाइन, चलिए, थैंक यू वेरी मच.